Hi, good evening. As usual, Reddit is always slow to start. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about Reddit, but it's just always slow to start, and I don't know why. It's still not started yet. Although I say I've got 17 watches, but I can't see myself. Let's just have a look on my mobile device and see if it's showing up on my mobile. It may not. It may be because it's my desktop. I don't know. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to the Woody Show. How are we all? I will be with you in a minute. I'm just trying to work out whether it's going out on Reddit or not, because it's the only way that I can monitor the feed is by watching it. So let's have a look and see. Um, uh, um, no, it doesn't look like it. Hang on, I can't find it on the mobile anyway. No, I assume I'm on Reddit. If somebody on chat wouldn't mind letting me know if I'm going out on Reddit, otherwise I shall just sit here and talk to myself. I should be on the U show. And I'm not getting out anywhere, so God knows. God knows. Right, anyway, good evening. Oh, wait a minute. Wait for mail. Wait for an email from auto moderator. No email from auto moderator, so no, not yet. Right. Um, Boris Johnson and his latest silliness. I, I, I actually been reading this story throughout the week, and I've been thinking this is some sort of joke. Maybe it's a joke that the newspapers are on. Boris Johnson on Friday wants to announce that he's going to allow pounds and ounces back as a measurement. 20 years ago we abandoned pounds and ounces for buying things. I mean, what? It's like a step backwards, isn't it? Eh? It's a step backwards. I mean, it's counting in metric is so simple because you're counting in base 10, but I mean pounds and ounces you're counting in base. Is it 16 ounces to a pound or 14 ounces? It's 16 ounces to a pound, right? And it's something like no, it's 16 ounces to a pound, and it's 14 pounds to a stone, if I remember correctly. And that does my head in. I mean, it's dead easy that there's 100 grams to a kilogram, 1,000 grams to a kilogram. It's not difficult, But if you start going into metric, and oh, it just bakes my noodle the fact that he wants to actually go back to pounds and ounces. Maybe he thinks that's what Brexit was all about. Maybe he thinks that's the only way that he can appease the Brexiteers by going back to pounds and ounces. But the other thing that's got me about this announcement is that I don't think we ever stopped it, did we? Because I've gone into shops and I've bought things like cheese, and it's got the weight there marked in grams and kilos, and right next to it, it's got the weight marked in pounds and ounces. So I'm not quite sure what it is that he's actually announcing. Are we going to do away with the kilo measurements or what? And I mean, apart from maybe one or two old boys that run market stalls, I can't think of any need for anybody to do things in pounds and ounces. I mean, I went to school in the 1970s. My senior school was in the 1970s, and 1972, I think I was in 1972, 1977, and I was taught in metric then. Because we'd just gone decimal before I went to school. No, it was the year we went to school. The year we went decimal was the year I went to school. So went to senior school. So that was in 1972, I think. But it was a grammar school, and I was always taught in metric. So everything throughout my life has been in metric. I mean, I know that in the UK we're a bit mongrel because we buy our fuel in litres, but we measure our distance in miles. But I think that's about the only thing now. Um, when people ask me my height, I say I'm 1.68 centimetres or 1.6 metres, 168 centimetres. I don't say I'm 5'6.5". I say I'm 168 centimetres. They ask me how much I weigh, and I say 89 kilos. And to be honest, I've got no idea what that is in pounds and stones. I think it's about 13 and a half stone. I think. But that requires me to divide by 14, and sometimes when you're busy dividing by, is it 14? I'm sure it's 14 pounds to the stone. I'm sure it is, but it means divided by 14. It gets all complicated. It's just so much easier in kilos. And whenever I'm doing any DIY, well, I don't do any DIY anymore, do I? But I mean, when I do a little bit, I had to buy some screws for my computer the other day, because I put a capture. I'm pointing down there because that's where my computer is. I put a capture card in my computer, and I had to buy some screws. And of course, they're all M sizes, metric screws. So I had to get M3 by 9, 9mm. Everything I buy is in metric, so I can't understand the logic of going back to pounds and ounces. What the fuck is? Oh, hang on. I know I'm on Reddit now. I can see I'm on Reddit. I'm on my phone on Reddit. All right. I can see I'm on Reddit. Right, good. Okay. No buggers chatting, but I'm finally on Reddit. So good. Right, we're on Reddit. Okay. That's that sorted out. I've got 7 of you watching. So let's have a look at the stats, shall we? Let's see what we're doing here. Right, okay, we've got 1 viewer on Twitch. Yeah. That 1 viewer on Twitch has never identified themselves. I never know who that 1 viewer on Twitch is. There is 1 viewer that always appears on Twitch, and they've never identified themselves. Oh, hang on, I've got some chat coming up. Hang on, just let me just bear with me for a second, guys, and I'll be with you for the Reddit chat. I've just got to call it up on my big screen because at the moment it's really small and I can't see fuck all. So bear with me. My eyesight, too much masturbation, I think, when I was a child or teenager. My eyesight isn't what it was. So just bear with me. I'm calling it up on the big screen. And I can look at chat properly then. Right, here we go. Hi, Mac, T Mac. Hi, hey, good. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're about. T Mac is a friend of mine from the States who's just been through some major surgery, and he's been recovering from it. And while he's been recovering from it, he hasn't been able to stream or pop on. But it's good to see you, T Mac. Hi. It's hope you're recovering all right. I hope you are recovering all right. Right, let's have a look. Yes, Stone is £14. Thanks, T Mac. Right, Fack Nugget. I think that's short for fuck nugget. Is it a fuck nugget? I prefer the expression fuck nuggle, but fuck nugget, it works. Yeah. Metric is by far the best unit just because it's relative. Well, it's by far the best unit because it's base 10. It's so easy to work in base 10. However, the Old English pound was 244 pence to the pound. Yes, I know it was. And mathematically, that is that is way more superior than 100 pence to the pound. Yeah, really. How many pence is 72 pence then, without a calculator or your computer? Come on, how many pence is 72 pence? How many old pennies is 72 pence? Work it out in your head and tell me how much easier that is. It's bloody not. Right. That 1 Twitch viewer is me. Yeah, I know that's a nightmare with Twitch. Right, what was I saying? Right, Twitch. I've got 1 view. I'm pointing over here because this is my big OBS screen. And up here, well, look up there, I'm looking at RPAN. So that's RPAN, that's broadcasting. And over here is my monitors that show me what's going out. And what's happening on what channel. So, right. And I'm losing the plot again. I'm totally losing the plot. Sorry, bear with me. You can tell this is all done live, isn't it? Because I get it all. I get it all asked about face. So yeah. So what have we got? We've got 12 people watching us on Twitch. I know we haven't. We've got 12 people watching us on Reddit. We've got 1 person watching us on Twitch, and now we've got 2 people watching on YouTube. Hello. I've doubled my. Look at that. How many people can say they've actually doubled their YouTube viewers? I've doubled my YouTube viewers instantly. So hello, you 2 on YouTube. Come, don't be shy. Come and join in. Say hi. Say hi. Right. Let's catch up with your messages. Right. TMac 108. TMac 108 is my friend on Reddit. Oh, Reddit has got 12 watchers. So once again, Reddit is leading in the stream wars. I call it stream wars because people keep telling me, I've been streaming on Reddit more than anything else, and people keep telling me that I'd make it big on Twitch and I'd make it big on YouTube. And I've tried Twitch and YouTube before and I haven't had any luck at all. But I'm going to take them at their word and I'm going to keep trying, and it's going to be a grind. So, but I've doubled my YouTube viewers. All right, I've doubled my YouTube viewers. So that's a grind. That's less of a grind, right? I still don't have anybody. Come on, guys, chat on YouTube. Chat, say hi. Say anything, even if you're rubbish, piss off. That's something. All right, I can relate to that. And so Reddit is the one that's winning. Reddit is the one that's winning by a long, long way. So that's all cool for Reddit. In fact, last night, coming back to what T-Max just said on Reddit, T-Max has just said, glad to see you've been getting out to the pub, etc. Very happy for you. Thank you. That actually backfired, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But last night on Reddit, the live pub stream had 32,469 viewers. You know, how's YouTube going to even compete with that? 34,000 viewers on Reddit. It's just, you know, I know why. It's because there were no cats on. When I'm competing against cats, I can't. Nobody watches me. They'd sooner watch the cats doing nothing but shit. I mean, yeah, it does my. I'm not an egomaniac, but if I was, right, I would get very upset by being beaten for viewership by a cat shitting in a box. But generally, that's what happens. I mean, I've got 12 viewers. I've got 12 viewers now, so I reckon everybody else on Reddit is watching a cat shit in a box. Yeah, they do. That's what Reddit is all about. But yeah, I think it's. I'm just going to have to grind. So I'm gonna launch my streams on YouTube and Twitch and just grind. And if nobody watches it, I haven't lost anything, have I? I've still got my Reddit viewership, which I love. And you're right, Basilides the False. YouTube, yeah, fuck cats, which would he? Yeah. YouTube, you're right. I'm always battling against the algorithm, and I don't know how to game it, and I don't actually care that much. It would be nice. It would be nice if I made some money streaming, which is where YouTube and Twitch are. Reddit is a freebie. It would be nice, but at the end of the day, if you're a regular, you know that I don't do it for the money. I do it because you guys are my social life. When I say guys, I'm talking about non. You know, I'm including all. I'm talking about guys, meaning all genders, not just the male species. And fuck nugget says persistence is the name of the game. I could be talking complete bollocks, couldn't I, fuck nugget? But I can prove it. I can prove how many viewers I had last night. So just bear with me 1 minute. Bear with me 1 minute, because I did capture a screenshot from last night, as you do. And if I'm technically competent, like I think I am, I should be able to show you the screenshot from the pub stream. So let's have a look and throw it across there and put it in the center so that it comes up on Reddit. So hopefully that will come up on Reddit. There you go. There's the screenshot. So as you can see, let me move that out of the way because you need to see my face, don't you? There we go. Hopefully that's come up on Reddit as well. I know it's on YouTube and I know it's on Twitch because I'm watching them on both. Yep, it's there. And is it on Twitch? Yep, it's there on Twitch. And go back to Reddit. Yeah, it's there on Reddit. There you go. 34,000. Hang on, what was that? 34,369 people watched me at the pub last night. And I was quite impressed. I mean, obviously it comes down to the fact that there's no cats shitting in a box, but that's still a figure. The topic tonight I'll come to in a minute. The topic tonight is actually this silliness with our Prime Minister Boris Teflon Johnson. I call him Boris the Teflon because no matter what shit you throw at him, it doesn't seem to stick. How that man is in power, I have no idea. And I'm a lifelong Tory, all right? I've voted Conservative all of my adult life, all right? I've always voted Conservative, but no way why Bojo the Clown is in charge. It's not happening. I mean, the man needs to go. If they want my vote at the general election, this man who is so tone deaf to the British public, so out of touch with the British public, actually needs to go. And I've never said that about any Conservative Prime Minister before. The man needs gone, all right? So tonight's subject is his silly idea, his stupidness. On Friday, he's going to announce that shops will be able to sell again in pounds and ounces. Is that not absolute craziness? Is it? Is it not absolute craziness? Right. So that's the problem. Yes, T-Mac. T-Mac. So while we're talking about that, let's just see how many people I've got to. I've lost half my I've lost half my I've lost half my that's a gutter, isn't it? I've lost half my YouTube viewers, and I'm now down to just one YouTube viewer. So I've lost half my viewership on YouTube. How about that, eh? That is like, I've halved my YouTube viewership. Oh well, don't matter, don't matter. Um, right. Oh, don't T-Mac. He honestly, right. Boris looks like he slept in a hedge. Okay, he actually looks like he slept in a hedge. No matter what it's in, he looks like he slept in a hedge. All right. But yeah, he looks like he slept in a hedge and woken up from a bender every morning. That's exactly what Boris looks like. I've just realised I'm not quite central on the camera and it's showing up on Twitch. So, um, oh, so that's going to be tonight's subject. I don't really like doing politics, but I just think that this is just some sort of silliness. That the man is tone deaf. I mean, what on earth makes him think that this will win him votes? Why would we want to go back to pounds and ounces? Why would we want to go back to pounds and ounces? Right, T-Mac, yes, going to the pub has backfired. It's backfired quite badly. The reason it backfired is because 2 weeks ago I picked up a really nasty virus, and it knocked me flat on my arse for most of last week. In fact, Thursday last week, not the Thursday just gone, Thursday before that, I was so seriously ill. I was very close to calling an ambulance because my temperature hit 39.3, which, as you know, with my health conditions, is a very, very big danger signal for me. Anything over 38, and I should be checking myself into hospital, but 39.3 was quite dangerous. However, I persevered at home, and it was only for the morning, and it started to go down in the afternoon. But this virus, I've had it now for 2 weeks. It's still lingering. This is because of my because I'm immunocompromised. This virus is still stinging. I mean, I did some work in the front garden. We call it a garden. You call it a yard. I've got a front and a back garden, and I did some work in the front garden today. I did a little bit of strimming. I only trimmed about a metre square because I'm not very fit. I'm not very healthy, and I can only do it a little bit at a time. But I trimmed about a metre square. It's not that warm out. It was only about 12 degrees today, and I was dripping with sweat and I was gasping for breath. So, and it's still a bit rough on my voice. So that's the backfire. It knocked me off my arse for 2 weeks. Definitely knocked me off my arse for 2 weeks. Knocked me on my arse for 2 weeks. Which wasn't the plan. So my other half came down with the virus as well. She's coming out of it after 5 days, and other people I know have come out of it after 3 days, and that just shows you how bad any virus affects me because I'm immunocompromised. It's taken me 2 weeks to shake off what most people are shaking off in 3 days. Fact nugget. I'm 62. I'm the older population. All this man has done has pissed me off. But it's not just him. It's everybody else. It's the whole Tory party. There's just you're gonna get a little bit of sleaze in politics, aren't you? You're gonna get a little bit of sleaze in politics, but there's just been too much too much sleaze, too much. It's just too much, isn't it? Too much. Hello, YouTube. I just noticed that I've doubled my YouTube viewers, so I've got a second YouTube. Hello, I've doubled my YouTube viewers. How many people? Oh no, I haven't. They've gone. I said hello and they fucked off. All right, fair enough. That's it. Thank you, T-Mac. I'm coming out of it, but I've been on 3 different very powerful antibiotics for the last week, which is fine. Although I can shit through the eye of a needle. I really can. You've really got me. I've got 3 viewers on Twitch now. 3 viewers. So I've got 14 on. How many have I got on Reddit? I have 14 on Reddit and 3 on Twitch, 1 on YouTube. So Reddit is still winning, even though I'm competing against cats shitting in a litter tray. So for 18 of you, 14 of you, I'm slightly better than cat shit, and I like that. YouTube has just gone down to 0. There is nobody watching me on YouTube. So people saying you've got to do YouTube, you'll do well on YouTube. It's not happening. It is not happening. But that might be me. I might be because I'm marketing it wrong or doing things like that. But yeah, fuck Nugget. I'm 62 and he doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. There's just been too much sleaze and too much stupidity. I mean, this whole Partygate thing, right? This Partygate thing. He seems. Hello, Jimmy Two Shoes. Look, I've got somebody on YouTube called Jimmy Two Shoes. Hello, Jimmy Two Shoes. Nice to see you there. I take it your name's Jimmy Two Shoes because your name's Jim and you've got 2 shoes, 1 on each foot. Am I in the ballpark there? Am I close? Jimmy Two Shoes. This Partygate. I mean, while Boris was I've got follicular lymphoma, which is a blood cancer, and it means I'm very immunocompromised, which is what I've just been talking to T Mac about. And in March 2020, when the COVID pandemic started, oh, excuse me, the after effects of the chest infection, when the COVID pandemic started, I had to lock myself away indoors and do what we call shielding. I don't know what you call it in the rest of the world, but basically it meant I had to stay away from everybody. And I just realised YouTube is lying because Jimmy Two Shoes has just said hello to me, but YouTube is saying I've got no viewers, so I'm not quite sure how that works. So that's a bit, it's this is, oh, okay. It says on YouTube, right? And when I looked at it in Chrome, when I looked at it on Restream, it says I've got no viewers. When I look at it on Chrome, it says one watching now, started streaming less than 1 minute ago, and I actually started streaming 20 minutes ago. So these stats lie. My brother, Jimmy Two Shoes, right? Jimmy Two Shoes says my brother-in-law started calling me Two Shoes. Don't know why, but it stuck with me. Fair enough. That's fair enough. I just thought you might be because you had 2 shoes, which, I mean, obviously one-legged men only have 1 shoe. So I went into this self-isolation, and for over 2 years, from March 2020 up until April this year, and my regulars know what I'm talking about. They see me stream throughout most of this. I've not gone out. Except for medical appointments. So I've actually kept myself isolated. So while Boris and his cronies were having jollies with their friends and drinking up, there was me stuck indoors, right? Couldn't even see my family. You guys have no idea, right? Unless you've actually done it, you have no idea what it's like to be in a self-imposed prison, especially when you're like me. And as you can probably tell, I'm a very shy introvert. I wouldn't say boot to a goose, right? I'm a very shy person. But I'm not really. I'm a very social person. I had to cut myself off completely from my social life. And I find out that I put myself through 2 years of shielding and isolation hell. And that prat, right, not only does he sleep in a hedge, but he's been out drinking it up with his chums while telling the rest of us, stay indoors and stay safe. But meanwhile, I'm going to have a party. I mean, how's that for out of touch? And here's the thing, right? Some of his cronies have said, don't worry, Boris, the British public are more concerned about the cost of living crisis than they are about Partygate, and they'll forget about it. That's how out of touch with reality this guy is. He's that out of touch with reality. He thinks that we don't give a damn about Partygate. What we actually think is, if he can do that during the COVID crisis and show that he really is out of touch and not caring, what's he actually doing right now during the cost of living crisis? He's probably having fucking Roman orgies up in number 10 Downing Street, right? And we'll find out about that in 2 years' time, that while all of us were paying, and I noticed fuel's gone up again today, right? Petrol prices, gasoline prices. I'm driving past a petrol station, £1.71 per litre. I thought, fuck me. bend over, grab me ankles and drop me trousers and put sand in my lube for petrol. While we're paying stupid money for fuel, he's probably having Roman orgies in number 10, and we'll find out about it. And that's the impression I've got of the guy. That he really doesn't care what's going on in the real world, and that's why he's got to go. Got to go. I don't want to change parties, fuck nugget. I don't want to change parties. I actually like the Conservative Party. I mean, I've looked at Labour, and when they've stopped being at war with themselves, they might actually be a good party. But at the moment, I I think a Labour government in power would be the worst thing that ever happened to this country. Oh, and I can't support the Greens. I did try once. I did actually with the Greens one time. The Green, not the 2019 general election, the one before that, I think it was about 2016. The Green Party knocked on the door and said, "I'm your local Green candidate. Is there anything you want to ask me?" And I said, "Yeah. Where do you get the paper that you print the flyers that you send through my door from?" And she looked at me and said, "The Brazilian rainforest." And I said, "Well, fuck off then, because you're not as green as you think you are. I'm not voting for you." Right? If you were really green, you wouldn't use any paper. And he said to me, "Well, if we can't send out leaflets, how are you going to know about us?" And I said, "That's not my problem. You're supposed to be green. Be green." Yeah? Or am I wrong about that? Okay? Don't drive everywhere if you're green. Walk. But she didn't. She drove. And she gives pieces of paper that come from the Brazilian rainforest. So they're not as green as they think they are. Not by any stretch of the imagination. And I can't vote Labour. I couldn't. I can't. I mean, they are a party that's at war with themselves. They are anti-Semitic. I mean, come on, let's be honest. They are anti-Semitic, and the more they deny it, the more you know that they are anti-Semitic. And I did actually like Blair. I didn't call it. I didn't call it when Blair was in charge. I didn't call it Conservative. I called it Tory Light, which is what it actually was. It was Tory Light. But unless they sort themselves out, who's that other guy? The guy that runs the Respect Party. He's another nutter, George somebody or other. I couldn't vote for him. I couldn't vote for any party that's had anything to do with Nigel Farage. I just couldn't. So that's that. Right. Good evening, Tacky Bat. Tacky B Bat has just said something very relevant on Reddit. It's annoying because I can't use Restream to go out on Reddit, Twitch, and YouTube at the same time. I'll explain why. Because Twitch and YouTube stream in 9:16 format, which is 9 high, 16 wide. And Reddit streams in 16:9, which is 16 high and 9 wide. So you've actually got two different formats. So I actually have to use two different lots of software to stream. OBS firing into Restream, Open Broadcaster Studio firing into Restream for Tube and Twitch. Then I have to start the virtual camera on OBS and run RPAN Studio to stream on Reddit, with the input, instead of being from my camera, being the input being the virtual camera from OBS. For the technically minded of you, that's how come I can stream on three different platforms with two different formats. And because I'm not yet a Twitch affiliate, which probably will never happen, although I have got 2 viewers on Twitch. Hello, 2 viewers on Twitch. Even though I'm not a Twitch affiliate, when I am a Twitch affiliate, I can't stream on any other platform at the same time. But at the moment, I'm not a Twitch affiliate, so I can. So that's that. And I've just lost my train of thought. Yeah, Tacky B Bat. I'm immunocompromised too, and I'm still doing it because the figures of COVID are too high. It stinks how the government is saying that it's over when it's not. I made a decision in April, Tacky Bat. I am 62 years old. I've got follicular lymphoma, which is an incurable cancer. I'm currently on my 3rd lot of chemotherapy. I'm a realist. I'm not going to live to a ripe old age. All right, my cancer is going to get me. Barring heart attacks and other things, my cancer is going to get me, and I've got more years behind me than I've got in front of me. And for the last 2 years, I've read nothing but horror stories of people that have died in hospital alone, or from families where the member of the family has died in hospital alone and they haven't been able to see them. And I've read stories of other people that have had to give up their lives and then they've died, and I just thought, well, I've had 3 primary injections and 2 boosters. So I've been 5 times now vaccinated against COVID. Fuck it. I can't carry on doing this for 2 years. Otherwise, my mental health would have suffered. It really would have suffered. I mean, after the first year, I discovered streaming. It was actually streaming. This is Jimmy Two Shoes. It's actually streaming on YouTube. I discovered streaming, and I found a great way to have. I found it as a great way to have a social connection, social life, without going out. So that helped me a bit, but it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same, and I know I'm taking a chance. I am minimising that chance. I mean, if you watch my streams from the pub, you'll know that I don't actually go in the pub. I'm sitting outside the pub. The pub are very fantastic. They're very disabled friendly. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm not in a wheelchair now. I'm sitting. I've got some mobility. I'm sitting in a computer chair, but I do use a wheelchair when I'm out. And the pub are very, very wheelchair friendly. And if you're watching last night, you would have heard the bar manager say, because I had a question about going up the next Sunday because it's the Royal 70th Jubilee next weekend, and I know the little parade of shops where the pub is, it's a micro pub. They've got a lot going on over the weekend, so I said to him, I don't know what's happening about coming up on Sunday, because it could be so busy. He said, Steve, it's not a problem. And he said, he said, this is your spot. He said, where you sit, we all know, everybody in the pub knows this is your spot. And no matter how busy we are, we will make you a spot here. That's absolutely guaranteed. And I thought that was really nice. I've never had that from any other pub. Never had that for any other pub, ever. So that's why it's my new local. And that's why I enjoyed myself up there last night. So, Tasty B Bat or Tacky B Bat, I've reached that point where I can't keep staying indoors. I can't do it. And I did suffer for it. I caught a virus. So that will teach me. And I did push it a bit. I must admit, I did push it a bit by going out 4 days in 1 week before I caught the virus. But I've slowed down a bit then. But I'm keeping out of the way by not going into situations where I'm around a lot of people. Like, I'm not inside a pub. The only time that I've been around a lot of people, even when I've been going out, I think it was on the bus. I came back from the O2 Arena on the bus one night, and it was about 5:30 in the evening. About 5:30 in the evening, and it was a rush hour, so the bus was quite packed. Even though the buses are well ventilated, I was still around a lot of people, so I think that's where I caught the virus. But I am taking less of a chance by not putting myself in a situation like we've been out to a restaurant a couple of times as well since I've started going out. We've been out to a restaurant, and I've always made sure it's a very quiet night, so there's not a lot of people about. So in that respect, I'm still taking some precautions, but not that many. Not sitting indoors as I would, because it would have done my mental health in. I mean, I'm the sort of person, I need to communicate. I need to talk to people. I need to have this interaction that we're having right now. I need this. My last job before I packed in work, retiring, I was a cab driver. That gives you an idea. If you've ever been to London, right, you know what cab drivers are like. We just talk shit for hours with our passengers. That's what they expect. You're on a 90-minute journey. They want your driver to talk absolute bollocks to them, which is how I can stream for 3 hours. Right, yes, J Deech 25. Good evening from Canmore, I think you said you were. Good evening. Yeah, the landlord and the manager are decent people. They let me have a tab, which is something that don't normally happen in the UK nowadays. They let me have a tab, and they've always got a spot for me. And they come out and they make sure that the awning is right out, so if it does rain, I don't get wet. And they always put the heating on for me because it was a bit cold last night. The street. If you click on my username on Reddit, you can see this. You can watch it. You can watch what happened last night, and actually hear us talking about it. So they were really decent. It's a really nice pub, and it's given me back some social life. I'm just gonna my beer de jour. I keep forgetting about this. I do a thing called beer de jour, which I drink a different beer each time. I'm drinking the same beer that I drank on Friday. I don't know if you know it, Red Stripe, which is the Great Beer Con, and this is something that I go on about a lot because I hate it. There's an unopened can. Here's my backup can, right? See that? it says on it, Jamaican lager beer. Now, I've been to Jamaica, right? And Red Stripe really is a Jamaican lager beer, and it's big out there. I mean, you know, in Australia, in Jamaica, Red Stripe is really nice. So you come back to the UK and you think, oh, Red Stripe, nice can of Red Stripe. It's great on a, got the condensation on that. It's ice cold. A nice drop of Red Stripe because it really tastes nice. Until you look at the can closely. Can you see that? Can you see what that says? I know my green screen software is trying to green screen it out. Sorry. Right? It says Jamaican lager beer brewed in the UK. Brewed in the UK by Heineken UK Limited. Right? Okay. So hang on. This is a Jamaican beer brewed in the UK with British water, British malt, British hops and British barley by a Dutch company. How Jamaican is that? How Jamaican is that? And I'm going to set you a challenge. Just 1 second. Somebody just asked me a question. Savage King Savage. Yes, I'm British. What gave it away? Was it my accent? So it's nothing like the Jamaican Red Stripe. It's nothing like the Jamaican Red Stripe at all. It is a British beer. It's brewed in Britain by a Dutch company, and I just find that to be a great con. And it's not just Red Stripe; it's all the other beers like that. But it tastes different to other beers, but it doesn't taste like the Red Stripe you get in Jamaica. Sitting on the beach in Ocho Rios, drinking cans of Red Stripe, smoking joints, and listening to reggae music was one of the highlights of the 1990s for me. Absolutely loved that place. Got absolutely one night I was down on the beach and this Rasta come up to me. Not a Jamaican Rasta, he's a white guy. And he'd been living in Jamaica for 25 years. And my wife was back at the hotel because we were on an all-inclusive resort. Because my wife had bought into this thing that it was dangerous to leave the resort. Because the resort's got all barbed wire around it and security guards. That's a load of bollocks. It's not dangerous. The hotel do that because they want you to spend your money in the resort, not outside. So they pretend there's a crime out there. They forget to tell you about the tourist police in Jamaica. They've got a special police force just to look after the tourists, which they do very well. So I'm out on the beach there on Ocho Rios. My wife's back at the hotel, and this guy comes up to me and he says, "Do you want to go to a party?" And I'm thinking, okay, let's have some of this. Let's have I notice I've just got connection issues on Reddit, which is down to Reddit, not me, because I've got a 600 meg. I've got 600 meg DSL line here, and it is rock solid stable to Twitch and YouTube, but not Reddit. So it's a Reddit problem, not a Twitch or YouTube problem. Let me take this hat off, and I'll tell you why I was wearing that hat in a minute. Take that hat off because it's starting to get hot in here. Right. So he said to me, "Do you want to come to a party?" And I said, "Yeah, all right." Jamaicans, Christ, do they know how to throw a party? Down the end of the beach, in a little hollow of trees. And I knew where the party was. As we got to about 50 metres from the trees, I knew where the party was. Have you ever seen Predator 2? That's the Predator with Danny Glover, not Arnold Schwarzenegger. And at one point, one of his Danny Glover has to meet some Rastas, and they pull up in a car. And when they pull up in a car, the car door opens like this big thick cloud of ganja smoke. Well, that's exactly what it was like at this party down at the end of the beach. And I think I got there about 8 o'clock in the evening, and I didn't get back to the hotel until about 11 o'clock the next morning. I got completely wankered, and I got completely stoned. And I took some chances because part of the party there, they have these mum and pop things that come up and just pop up and cook jerk food like jerk chicken, which is absolutely gorgeous. But don't ask what's in it. I'm not even sure chicken was in it. Yeah, but don't ask. If you don't ask, you will never, ever, ever, ever be worried by it. So don't ask. By the way, Reddit is still winning. We're now up to 26 on Reddit, 3 on Twitch. So hello, all 3 viewers on Twitch. Hello. I've trebled my viewership on Twitch, and once again, YouTube has reported that I have no viewers. So I don't know if Jimmy Two Shoes is there or not. I really don't know if Jimmy Two Shoes is there. Right. Right. Anything the British brew ends up in our harbour anyhow. Okay, fine. I prefer to drink it, not throw it away. Electronic Bag 5830 loves Red Stripe. I like Red Stripe as well. This Red Stripe I've got, although it's not actually real Jamaican beer, it is a nice beer. And on a nice warm day, that goes down quite well. All right, sorry, Jimmy Two Shoes. I just checked in there. Where you from, Jimmy? By the way, Jimmy Two Shoes is on YouTube. Where you from, Jimmy? Just out of curiosity. T-Mac, one of my favourite beers when I drank was Murphy's. Yeah, I know what Murphy's is. Irish beer like Guinness. It always tasted better over there. Fairly certain the cans in the state are brewed in New York. I think you're probably right because they brew them locally with the local water because it's expensive to ship water from one country to another. And I do think that the water makes the difference, T-Mac. But I've got to admit, I don't like. They're called stouts, by the way. Things like Guinness and Murphy's. I don't like any of them. I think they're disgusting. They're actually horrible beers. I can't drink them. Just bear with me. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. I'm sorry, Jimmy Two Shoes. I'm sorry. But Jimmy Two Shoes is from Tipperary. Right. Guinness Land and Murphy's Land. And here's me just slagging his drink off. Oh Christ. I'm sorry, Jimmy Two Shoes. I know it's the national drink. I know that in Ireland, right, babies aren't given baby formulas in a bottle; they're given Guinness or Murphy's. But I just don't like it. I went to Dublin and Navan a few years back, and I was in Dublin, and the guys out there were saying, oh come on, you must like Guinness. You can't drink lagers all the time. You've got to drink Guinness. Come down the pub with us and have a few Guinness, because Guinness in Ireland is brewed completely differently to Guinness in London, and we think you'll enjoy it. I'm saying no, I don't like stouts. I can't stand it. I don't like Murphy's. I don't like Guinness. I don't like porter stouts. I don't like any dark beers. Oh no, to be sure, it's Guinness. It's fine. It's different. It's different. It's different in Ireland. It's definitely different. You've got to come down the pub with us and drink a good drop of Guinness. A good drop of Guinness. It's different in Guinness. You'll enjoy it in Ireland. It's so much better. It's so much better. So much nicer. Come down the pub. Have a Guinness with us. Do you like my accent, by the way, Jimmy Two Shoes? So I've gone down the pub, right? And I've decided, and they've got me the drink here. Here you are. Here's a Guinness. It's been brewed in Ireland, all right? It's been brewed. It's great. It's Ireland. It tastes nothing like the rubbish you get in England. It's a fantastic beer. And they gave it to me, and do you know what? It tastes just as shit as it does everywhere else that I've tried Guinness in the world, where they tell me that Guinness is one of it. It's not shit. I don't like it. All right? The first thing I want to do is put half a bowl of sugar in it. All right, it is that sour. I really don't like it. All right, Jimmy. Sorry, Jimmy. I'm glad. I mean, I met quite a few people in Navan that didn't like Guinness, but you weren't the only one. Jimmy Two Shoes, so they comes from County Tipperary, which is in Era, the Irish Republic. He's not a Guinness man. He's a lager man, so he doesn't drink anymore. Good man. I don't drink anymore either. I don't drink any less, but I don't drink any more. And I just can't stand Guinness. I can't stand any dark beers. Ruby ales, porters, stouts, Murphys. I can't stand them. They just taste sick. They taste like molasses. It's like I don't know. Molasses is one of the flavours. It's like you're drinking molasses. It's disgusting. So every one of my American friends rave about Guinness. Get Guinness. Guinness is lovely. No, it fucking ain't. It's disgusting. It's awful. It's awful. It's worse than Marmite. All right, Guinness tastes worse than Marmite. And Marmite is disgusting. I'll start something there, I'll start something there. Lurking while pooping. Interesting username. Very interesting username. I can tell you. Oh, I've doubled my viewers. I've got two people on YouTube. Again, hello, two people on YouTube. My dad was born and raised in Cork City, and I'm an Irish citizen. Visited more times than I can count. It's my second home. I like Ireland. I do. I like Ireland. Except for one thing. Right, driving in the Republic is an absolute nightmare. The reason it's an absolute nightmare is because all of the roads outside of the cities, right, are very narrow and they're very windy and they've all got 9-foot hedges either side, which means during the daytime, you haven't got a clue what's coming. You can't see any more than 20 feet in front of you because there's a hedge and a bend. And the only safe time to drive there is at night. The trouble is driving at night is everybody in Ireland's drunk at night. So it's actually people say that Rome is the most dangerous place in the world to drive. No, it's not. It's the Irish Republic. And if you've ever driven in the Irish, am I right, Jimmy Two Shoes? Right? Am I right? Okay. You put hedges everywhere. Everywhere you put hedges just to make it hard to see what's coming. I used to serve an old man at a bar. This is Jimmy Two Shoes on YouTube. I used to serve an old man at the bar who only drank bottles of Guinness off the shelf warm, yeah? Very old school, 24 bottles a day. My God, his toilet must have smelt. Oh. He must have been nuclear in his bog when he took a crap. Ugh. Right. I could drink stouts like T-Mac 1088, my friend T-Mac 1088 on Reddit said, I could drink stouts like water in my heyday, goes down so easy. It's the only thing I'm missing not drinking. That's cool. That's cool. I think it was the Brits that brought in the hedges. You're probably right. But am I right about the hedges? They are so dangerous out there. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? You know exactly what I'm talking about. One of the things, just changing the subject slightly, one of my talents is I can program in Python. And at the moment I'm struggling. I'm going to get there. I'm going to do it, but I'm trying to work it out with a Python script. The main problem is RPAN Studio because it's very crippled, and I've got to look at compiling a different version of RPAN Studio to uncripple it so I get access to WebSockets. If I can get access to WebSockets like I can on OBS Studio, I can work it. I'm doing a Python script that I hope will allow all three chats to be seen by everybody. At the moment, anybody on Twitch can see the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat. Anybody on YouTube can see the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat at the same time. Nobody on Reddit can see what's going on YouTube and Twitch, and nobody on YouTube and Twitch can see what's happening on Reddit. So I've just sort of got to tell people what somebody on YouTube is saying, what somebody on Reddit is saying. But I'm working on a script, and it all depends on getting access to WebSockets, which I'll work on next week when I'm feeling better. So I can allow all of you to be able to see what everybody's saying and interact with each other. It probably breaks some rules somewhere, but we'll see. Right. No jackthroat. Pardon me. Yeah, no jackthroat 3057. Yeet. Sorry, man. I don't speak Japanese. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't speak Japanese. T-Mac 1088. I rented a car last time I was over there, and it scared the shit out of me. I always just went along with my dad. My dad is used to it, so he just rips through those narrow roads. You learn to hold your breath. I learned to shut my eyes. That was the easiest way to drive in Ireland. Just shut your eyes like that. Just shut your eyes. Yeah, Jimmy Choo Shoes. I won't ever forget that. That was fun. I enjoyed driving in Ireland. I did. That was fun. We stayed in Dublin, and there's this hotel in Dublin. It's just around the corner from the Tissock, where the Tissock lives. I don't know whether he lives or whether that's his official residence or he lives somewhere else, but the Tissock. For those that don't know, the Tissock is the Irish Prime Minister. There's a hotel just around there that's got a cab rank outside, which is back to front. This is so typically Ireland, right? There's a cab rank that's back to front. If you want a cab from outside this hotel, you've got to go to the back of the rank, not the front. Jimmy Two Shoes, my phone is popping off with the cryptos taking off again. Do you have any thoughts on cryptos? Yeah, I do, but you probably won't like them. I've got to be honest, my thoughts on crypto is I think it's good. I think it's one of these. I think it's a bubble. I think it's not real. It's not there. And I'm a bit old-fashioned like that. It's like these NFTs, non-fungible tokens. I'm a bit funny. I like to see something physical. Whilst at the moment, I think cryptocurrency is. I think someone somewhere is going to make a lot of money off the backs of millions of people that are going to lose a lot of money. And I think it's some sort of great pyramid scheme that's long term. And I think it's some sort of con. If I'm truly honest, and no, I'm not going to invest my money in it. It's not something that's going to tempt me to invest my money in it. I don't think it's some sort of long con, but I haven't worked out how or what yet. But I think we might be all surprised that some point it'll all go wrong, and only a few people will make money, and millions and millions of people will lose money to make these people rich. I think it's like snake oil. Snake oil is the only comparison that I can come up with. In the Wild West, snake oil was a big thing. Apparently, it cured everything, but it turns out that it doesn't cure anything. But people believed in it because of the power of belief. And I think that's the same with cryptocurrency. So those are my thoughts on it. But good luck, and I hope you do well. In a rickety 1992 Ford Fiesta. Yeah. I must have had a Ford. I think I had a Ford Fiesta in about the 1990s. Yeah. I've got a Hyundai now. I've got a Hyundai. Hyundai, whatever you call it. Hyundai. We call it Hyundai here. I guess you call it Hyundai. Is that what you call it, T Mac? What do you call it there? I've got a Hyundai Ioniq, which is a hybrid. Can I digress and talk about hybrids a moment? I've got a friend of mine who's just got the Hyundai Ioniq EV full electric vehicle. Mine's called a battery BV. Mine's called an HEV, which is a hybrid electric vehicle. She's called a BV, battery electric vehicle. He's just got the Hyundai Ioniq electric vehicle, and he was showing off this morning on Facebook, and he said, I did 170 miles last night, and I charged up with the same. Right, Mac. Sorry, I realise you can't do it. Right, number one. So just give me a one or two. Number one, Hyundai. Number two, Hyundai. Which is how you pronounce it? Number one or number two? So he's got this, and he said he does 170 miles and he charged it up, and it cost him just over £13 to charge it up. And I did some maths, and my battery electric vehicle, my hybrid electric vehicle, does 170 miles for about £17. So my petrol vehicle actually isn't that far. Obviously, I'm a hybrid, but I'll chat to you again. Thank you for subbing, Jimmy Two Shoes. That's always the best advice on YouTube, because if you sub, you'll know when I'm on next, which will be Friday now. About this time, Friday, 21:45. I'll schedule it on YouTube later on tomorrow. But nice chatting to you, Jimmy. Enjoy yourself with your two shoes, and nice to chat to a guy from Ireland. Hyundai, that's it. That's how you pronounce it out there. Hyundai, right? Okay. That's how they pronounce it in Korea, by the way. And I've been to Korea. Yeah, they've actually got Hyundai. I've actually got in Seoul, in Korea. Hyundai have got a department store. It's one of the most popular stores in Korea. It's actually owned by Hyundai, and you go in there, it's absolutely fantastic. Every product in there is Hyundai, and I never realised they made so many products. It's absolutely fantastic. I always thought they made cars, but no, they make everything: radiators, escalators, elevators, bread makers, hair dryers, toasters, ovens. They make televisions. They make everything out there. Hyundai. So yeah, my car isn't that far off of what his electric vehicle is, and the difference. So it's £4 per 170 miles extra. Mine costs £4 more to do 100 than his does to do 170 miles. But I'm not tied to a charger, and that's the biggest problem. When I bought my car, I did consider buying an all electric vehicle. The main problem then, this was 3 years ago, the main problem then was that I didn't think that we had the charging infrastructure in place to actually have an electric vehicle, because that's what you're stuck with an electric vehicle. You have to have chargers. So you're always going to be tied to a charger. You can't go anywhere where there's not a charger. If you've only got a 200-mile range in your car, then you can only go 200 miles before you charge it. So you're limited to the range of where the chargers are. And in the UK at that time, the chargers weren't very well. They're a lot better now, 3 years on, but they're also still expensive, especially the street side fast chargers. You know, you're talking 20 or 30 pounds to give a car an overnight charge, and it does the same mileage as mine. So I'm glad I've got at the moment. I'm glad I've got the HEV version, because I'm not limited to a charger. When I fill the tank up, it gives me a range of 500 fuel miles, but the real range is I get about 800 miles out of a full tank of fuel. At the moment, I'm getting between 72 and 75 miles to the gallon out of my car, which when you can, and it's an automatic, which when you consider my last car, which is a Ford Focus automatic, I was getting 38 petrol, 38 miles to the gallon out of it. I'm getting double out of it, and I'm not limited to I'm not tied down to a charger. So I'm not quite sure the electric cars are there yet. I'm not tempted to. I mean, mine's only 3 years old. I'm not even going to look at replacing it for another 2 years. When it's 5 years old, it'll be out of warranty. It's got a 5-year warranty, so when the warranty's gone, then I'll consider replacing it, and I might look at an electric vehicle then. But at the moment, no, I think hybrids are still winning because you're not tied down to a charger. Like Mitsubishi, they make all sorts of stuff beyond cars. My friend had a Mitsubishi TV. Yeah. They do. You're right. I do recall Mitsubishi doing that. I was just fascinated by this department store. It was great. It was great. Sorry, I'm smiling because I remember when I was in Seoul. I'm a bit of a. You probably guessed I'm a bit of an adventure freak, and I had to go and stand on the border, didn't I? Which is widely regarded as the most dangerous border on the planet of the Earth. The border between North and South Korea is widely regarded as the most dangerous border on Earth. And I had to go and stand on it, didn't I? I had to go and stand there and stare at the North Korean guards. It had to be done. So I've done that. I've stood on the most dangerous place in the world. Is it most dangerous place or most dangerous border? I forget now. But I've stood there and I've stared at the North Koreans. I had to go and do it. It just reminded me of that. That was all. Right, yeah, let's have some more beer. Still only 19 watches on Reddit, so I'm not going to hit the heady heights of the 32,000 that I hit last night. But like I say, I've probably got, if I was to go on a quick scan of Reddit, I'll probably find there's a cat shitting in a box, or what was it earlier on today? A dog fetching a stick in the sea. Had 400. Oh no, there was another guy. There's another guy. Nothing wrong with the guy, right? He's obviously a druggie, and he was talking about coke and weed, and he had 430. He had nearly 500,000 viewers. And I looked at that and thought, and there's me. I gave it up 3 years ago. But no, it's generally if my figures aren't very high, it's because there's a cat shitting in a litter box somewhere that people are more interested in. And I spoke to somebody the other day about this. I said they said they go on Reddit. They said they've seen me. And I said, "What are you watching Reddit?" So we like the cats. I said, "But you've got cats. Why don't you watch your own cats?" Oh no, it's very relaxing watching other people's cats. But they're not doing anything apart shitting in a litter box or meowing, and cats don't do anything. Cats aren't like dogs. They're not very reactive. And he said, "No, it's very relaxing just watching the cats." Okay. What a hang with it. But there we go. I'm obviously competing against cats. So that's my other problem. Oh, yes, I was going to tell you why I was wearing the hat. Yes, of course, I was telling you why I was wearing the hat. Yeah, the hat. Do you like the hat, by the way? It's a Trilby. It's a nice one. It's a proper one. It's all lined and everything. It's not one of those cheap straw ones. It's a proper felt hat. It's my summer one. I've got two. This is my summer one, which is a lighter weight one, but I've also got a proper felt heavier weight winter one. Why am I wearing this Trilby? I'll tell you for why. Look, That's why. Um, I'm on my third lot of chemotherapy at the moment. Amongst the side effects, let's talk about my cancer for a minute. Amongst the side effects, one of them is it's actually causing me to lose my hair, but it's caused me to lose my hair in a funny way because the first thing that went was the hair on my legs. The next thing that went was my pubic hair, and then the hair on my chest went. Not that I was a very hairy person anyway, but I've literally lost all of my body hair. You can't see it on my arms. I've got no, but I'm wearing shorts. Don't panic. I'm wearing shorts. Look, there's my legs. Look, no hair at all on my legs. Look, no hair at all. I am wearing shorts. Look, see? Oh, you can't. I can't get up high enough. I'm not naked. I'm not naked. I am wearing shorts. I've got no hair on my legs at all. And I've also noticed the hair on my head now. I was in the shower a couple of weeks back, and I was washing, and I started seeing hair come out. And no, I looked down at the plug on the floor, and I noticed the water wasn't draining away. So I pulled the thing out, and it was full of my hair. I knew it was my hair because my partner, she's got long silver hair, and this wasn't silver hair. This was shorter thing. So my hair is coming out. So I put the hat on, not because I'm worried about my hair coming out. No, Christ, no. I mean, what I did is, first thing I did is I shaved my head, which I've done, as you can see. I don't give a shit. I'm not that vain. But we are in spring now, and the sun can be a bit fierce. It don't have to be hot in the UK, but it can be a bit fierce, especially when you've got long days. And if you're not careful, I can get quite sunburnt on the top of my head. So now that I'm very fair skinned, and when I was a child, my hair was white, blonde. So I'm very susceptible to sunburn. So that's why I've got the hat to keep the sun off my head where I'm losing my hair. Thank you, T-Mac. I like it. It's a nice hat. It's a nice hat. I've not really been a hat person. It's only because of this that I'm losing my hair. I'm losing my hair, and I'm wearing the hat to keep the sun off my head. I have other hats. I have on a really sunny day, or when I'm out in the garden. That's my trilby. When I'm out in the garden doing the gardening, I have a fedora. There you go. I have that, which is my other hat. Which really does keep. When I was doing the gardening today, I was using this to keep the sun off of my head because it's got a much wider brim as well. So I don't know which hat suits me, the fedora or the trilby. I personally prefer the trilby because it's such a low profile hat, but we'll see. But there we go. And that's why I'm wearing the hat. So I thought if I'm competing against cats shitting in a litter box, then I need a tag, and that's my tag. My hat is my tag. But it's a bit warm in here. It's only 9 degrees outside, but it's like 26 in here, and I've got 2 fans on me on full blast now. Right, okay. I've been at it for about an hour and a half. Talking complete rubbish. So come on, people. What do we want to talk about? I've got 2 of you on Twitch. Come on, Twitch. You've not spoken at all. Apparently, somebody said earlier that one of those is me. I'm viewing myself. All right. So there's 1 person on Twitch. I'm not sure how many are on YouTube because the software is lying. So let's have a look. Let's have a look on YouTube and see how many people are actually watching me. According to this, I've got 1 person watching me on YouTube. So hello YouTube watcher, and I've got 14 of you watching me on Reddit. So come on, guys, what do we want to talk about? Let's let you drive the conversation for a minute, and you tell me what we want to talk about. It's like Reddit. TMac1088 says, I need to be better about wearing sunscreen out here in Arizona. I hear baseball cap, but I'm very fair skinned, and the sun here is a very heavy hitter. Yeah, I've got a wheelchair bag that goes over the back of my wheelchair, and in there I've got an umbrella. I've got a poncho. I don't know if you've ever seen a wheelchair poncho. It goes all the way over me and covers my legs at the front and covers up the wheelchair because my wheelchair is electric and water and electrics don't really mix. I haven't got a mobility scooter. I've got an electric wheelchair, so it's very open to the elements. So I've got that. So in my bag, I've got my umbrella. I've got my poncho, I've got a spare pair of trousers, just in case I piss myself. Not that I'm liable to do it, but I just carry a spare pair of trousers, all right, and a spare shirt in the bag in the back, and I bought the sunscreen plus a bottle of water when I go out. So I've got a bottle of sunscreen and a bottle of water when I go out. Oh yeah, and I carry my I've got it indoors at the moment because it needs charging. I carry my power bank as well because I need to be able to charge my mobile phone. I can charge my mobile phone off of the wheelchair battery, but if something happens to the wheelchair battery, I need a way to make sure that my cell phone, you call them cellulars, we call them mobiles, doesn't go flat. But sunscreen is one of the ones that I carry, especially for my arms, because I do like my. So I have a squirt with the sun cream when the sun's getting a bit hot as well. And of course, one of the antibiotics I was on. Remember me saying that I was on three powerful antibiotics. That's one of the antibiotics I'm on. It's there we go. Doxycycline. One of the side effects of doxycycline is protect your skin from sunlight, even on a bright, cloudy day. Do not use sunbeds. It makes you even more sensitive to sun. So that's why I'm wearing a hat. So that's what the hat's all about. And I'm taking that off now because I'm actually quite warm. So yeah, and of course there's a big thing there's a big thing in the media at the moment, isn't there, for all the doctors? Well, there is in the UK, warning people about the dangers of the sun. And the sun is one of these things. If you get burnt once, that's probably enough. So you've got to be very careful. But yeah, I do carry sunscreen with me, and I don't care how unmanly it looks. I will actually stop, put sunscreen on my arms and on my nose, and like I said, I'm wearing shorts, so I like shorts. I wear shorts a lot. Even in the middle of winter, I wear shorts. So I put sunscreen on my legs as well. And the other thing about being in a wheelchair is you're very. I'm just taking my medicine. It's 11 o'clock, and I have to take my medicine. The other thing about being in a wheelchair, of course, is you're very exposed to the elements. In respect to the fact that you can't just duck under a building or duck under a tree to find shade, because you've got to find somewhere for your wheelchair. So being on medication that increases my sensitivity to the sunlight means it's essential for me to do that. So yeah, Mac, I would recommend you take sun cream with you everywhere. Even if you think it looks unmanly, if you think it looks gay or camp to put sunscreen on, I think putting sunscreen on is a very good plan. I do it, like I say, I wear the hat. That's my way around it. I'm just going to take my medication. There's probably some rule that says that I shouldn't really wash this down with alcohol. But to be honest, I've already got cancer. What's the worst that can happen? I just noticed that on my cell phone, I'm looking at myself on Reddit on my cell phone. It's stopped. It's frozen. So on Reddit on the mobile, it's frozen, but on the desktop, it's still working. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see. So it looks like the desktop version has frozen. So I'm really not sure what's going on there. I'm really not sure what's going on. But that's Reddit for you. So I'm sorry if I've frozen. I can't find myself on Reddit. I've lost myself on Reddit again. I've lost myself on Reddit. So let's see if we can sort this out. Nope, I've lost myself on Reddit, so I'm obviously not going out on Reddit. Oh well. Everything says I am. Our pan says I am. It's no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll give up on that one. So that's probably why the chat's not working. So what have we got? We've got 10 watchers on Reddit. We've got 1 watcher on YouTube. We've got 1 watcher on Twitch. So come on, Twitch. Look, the other night I had quite a lot of people on Twitch saying hi. So come on, Twitch. Say hi. Talk, interact with me. Or am I the one watcher? TMAC1088, you last said something 7 minutes ago. So have I lost you? Is what my phone is what my oh, it's not frozen. Okay, it's not frozen. So all right, it was my cell phone then. That's all right. That's fine. The other thing that's happened, T-Mac, is that I've for those that don't know, and there's only 8 watchers, so you're probably regulars. I have cancer. I'm on chemotherapy, and between the cancer and the chemotherapy, there are side effects. There are a lot of side effects to the chemotherapy. Hair loss is one of them. Another one is it causes you to lose bone density in your jaw, and it causes your gums to shrink. It also affects your teeth and causes them to rot at an accelerated rate. Well, on the 13th of May, starting on the 13th of May, about the same time T-Mac was having his operation, I had 2 surgeries to have 12 teeth removed in total. So in the last 6 weeks, I've now had 12 teeth in total removed, which has left me with absolutely no teeth in my mouth from here to here. On the left-hand side, I'm completely toothless from here backwards, top and bottom. On the right-hand side, I've got all my front teeth, back and front. on the right-hand side, I've got 1 top tooth and no teeth from the back there. And on the bottom, I've got 2 bottom teeth and no teeth back there. So from having a full set of teeth 3 years ago, I'm down to just having 12 teeth. So I've lost 20 teeth in 3 years. And my teeth, I'm going to lose all my teeth eventually. So they've removed altogether now 20 teeth in 3 years. And it's really terrible because I can only eat with a very small portion of my mouth there. I can tear apart with my front incisors, but I can only chew with 3 teeth, 1 top, 2 bottom, just there, which makes eating difficult. In fact, it's rather crazy that because I've lost my teeth, I can do this. Look. Yeah, it's bizarre, that, isn't it? But Friday just gone, I had the first appointment with and I keep calling her a dentist, and I get told off when I call her shit. I'm not a dentist. I'm an oral reconstructive surgeon, right? She's very, very, very funny about that, right? I should be, you can call me a dentist if you like, but I'm an I'm a reconstructive oral surgeon. I'm having dentures fitted. I'm having dentures fitted. And they took the moulds. They're doing the top first of all. Shit, I'm just going to give you the top ones first of all because they're the most difficult. And if I give you top and bottom at the same time, it's going to feel like you've got a lot of bulk in your mouth. So we've got. I'm having top ones fitted, and they'll be ready in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I think she said. I've got to have a couple of fittings. The first fitting is about 2 weeks, where I just go in and they check to make sure they fit, and then they make the final adjustments. And 2 weeks later, they'll be ready. So I should have them by about the end of this month, which is handy because I'm going out for a business meeting in July. Educational 2251. Thank you for sharing your story. It's so much to go through and takes a lot of strength. A lot of people say that, you know. A lot of people say that to me about I must be brave and I must be very strong to go through this, but I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. I don't think I've done anything special. I think it's down to my personality. I mean, I've been living with cancer since. Well, I was diagnosed with cancer in 2013, and the conservative estimate is that I probably had it for up to 3 years beforehand. So they reckon about 2010. So let's for argument's sake, say 2010. All right, that's 12 years I've had an incurable, and it is incurable, right? It's going to kill me. It's 12 years I've had cancer for, and it has had some effects on me. I mean, I've lost my hair now. I'm losing my teeth. I'm losing all my teeth, and it's crippled me to the point that I need a wheelchair when I'm out and about, as anybody who watches me regularly will know. Or if you go onto my YouTube channel, which is here, advertised there, look, tap that link in and you'll get to my YouTube channel. All right. You can see some of the videos that I've made from my wheelchair. And it's cost me my hearing. I'm almost completely deaf, and I have to wear. I haven't got them in now. I have to wear very powerful hearing aids, and it's costing me my eyesight. So it's slowly shutting my body down, bit by bit by bit. But I'm okay with that. It's. I haven't got any. I haven't got any different strength to what everybody else had. I'm just one of these people. I can't sit back and go, oh no, 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 I've got cancer, I'm dying. Oh no, woe is me. I can't do that. It's my personality, right? Throughout my life, I've never seen obstacles. I've only ever seen challenges, and cancer is yet another challenge. Um, I've got it. I can't unget it. So I'm not gonna lay back, and I'm not gonna lay back and be the poor cancer victim. If anything, what I'd like to get across, and what I'm hoping that my streams do for people, what I'd like to get across is to say that it's not the end of your life. You can carry on. You can have a fairly good quality of life, even though you've got an incurable cancer. It's not. It doesn't change your life that much. Yeah, I've had to make some changes. I mean, Christ, I've had to make some changes. I mean, we've had to have our bathroom converted. We no longer have a bath in the house. Okay. Since September, I've got two bathrooms. Right, the one downstairs just has a shower in it, and the one upstairs had a bath and a shower in it. But in September last year, we had it converted to a complete wet room because I can't get in and out of baths. We had it converted to a complete wet room with a shower and a wet room. And my partner, bless her, I love her to death. She used to love her bath. She used to get in the bath for a couple of hours each day, grab a book, sit in there and look at the bath. Well, since September, she hasn't had a bath, has she? She's only had the shower. We're going away on the first weekend in July, meeting some friends in the Midlands. A lot of friends, actually, about 30 of us getting together. First time we've all been together. For a long, in fact, some of us will be the first time we've even met. We're all admin. We're on the admin team of a very big Facebook group that I run, and we're all getting together for our annual general meeting. Piss up is the actual word. And she's coming with me, not because she wants to go to the meeting. She's on the admin team, right? She doesn't want to meet the others. No, fuck does she? She wants to come with me so she can spend the entire night in the hotel bath. So, yeah. Hi, happy smile seeker. I love you too. So yeah, educational too. That's. I don't think I'm strong. I think it's my basic personality. I don't see adversity the way that a lot of other people do. I see it as a challenge. I see it as a challenge to not let it define me, not let it bring me down, and to live my life as best as I can. And in doing so, if I can show other people who've yet to tread this path, right? Who've yet to tread this path. There are people out there probably listening to this right now that, although they haven't got cancer now, they might do in a few years' time. If they're treading this path, to say to them, look, you can be fairly normal. It's not the end of the world. It's not like it's painted on TV. On TV, it's painted where you're an emancipated skeleton, all grey, in a hotel, in a bed, with all tubes and things dripping out of you. With a skull towel on your head. That's how cancer victims are played in the movies. And I'm just, I just like to say that I'm here showing that that's not the way it is. But yeah, it has had some effects on me, obviously. It's put me in a wheelchair, but I make the most of that. That's actually quite fun. My wheelchair. I like my wheelchair. It gets me places. And it does get me preferential treatment. I must admit, I do get preferential treatment at times because of my wheelchair. And a perfect example of that is my local pub, which I stream from on a Sunday night. They've told me that I've now got a regular spot. And if I come up and there's somebody in my regular spot, they will move them so that they can make me a regular spot because I'm in the wheelchair. So yeah, it has. If there's a plus point about getting cancer, that's it. That's it. Oh, see, that's my personality. I can't be down about anything. It's very difficult for me to be down about anything. So that was for educational 2051. I don't know if you're still there or not. But that was that. T-Mac, if nothing else, wear a baseball cap. Like I said, the sun is just, especially with the medication I'm on. And this medication, this is the best medication in the world. Nothing like a nice cold beer when you're streaming. So let's have a look. Let's have a quick roundup. Right, we've got one person on Twitch. We've got no viewers on YouTube. So we've got one person on Twitch, no viewers on YouTube. See, I could get paranoid about that. I would really think that nobody actually likes me. I probably don't, but I don't give a shit. But it's a grind. I'm gonna crack YouTube, all right? I'm gonna crack YouTube and Twitch. I'm going to get to the stage where I get more than, one viewer a night. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it by just pounding away, by just keep putting my stuff out there and just hope that eventually word gets around. I don't know. I mean, I should do some sort of SEO, but I've got so many other things going on in my life that I haven't got time to fill my head full of search engine optimization crap. Large bag holding milk. Hello, I remember you from the other night. I'd love to have a beer with you. I'm down my local pub every Sunday. I've got a standing invitation to you. If any of you guys want to turn up, I'll buy you a pint. Now I've said that, right? There were 34,000 people watching me last night. If all 30,000 people turn up, I'm going to be a bit fucked for buying a pint, aren't I? Really? But yeah, if you turn up, if you come down my pub, Large Mags, I will give you I'll quite happily share a pint with any of you guys. Quite happy to. Love to. It would be so nice, actually. I don't know, apart from the bar staff, I don't know anybody in the local pub. I've not actually chatted to anybody there. The reason I haven't chatted to them, of course, is because I spend all my time streaming. If I didn't stream, I'd be getting in there and socialising. So, all right, you're over the pond. All right, I'm sorry. Well, if you're ever over this way, my wheelchair's got a good battery range, but I don't think it'll ever make it over the pond. I'm sorry. That's another thing. I'll tell you now. That's another thing about cancer that is not very well publicised. Right, the losing your teeth through chemotherapy isn't very well publicised. But another thing about cancer isn't very well publicised is it really affects your insurance for travelling. Now, I've been to America many times, but since I've been diagnosed with cancer, and as I'm on active chemotherapy, I cannot get travel insurance. I cannot get any medical travel insurance that covers me to travel anywhere for my diseases. I can get travel insurance that covers me for excluding my diseases, but that's no good if you go to America. It's no good at all if you go to America. You need full comprehensive travel insurance. Going to America without fully comprehensive travel insurance, medical insurance, is the most crazy thing that anybody can do. The same with Canada, actually. Going to North America, both Canada and America, without fully comprehensive medical travel insurance is a lunatic thing to do. So I can't go to America until I can actually get insurance which covers me for my conditions. I can't go to America. It's been 10 years, and I'd love to go back to America. There's so much of America that I haven't explored. There's so much of Canada that I haven't explored, and I'd love to. Once I've finished chemo and I'm in remission for 2 years, I stand a better chance of getting insurance. However, my remissions have only lasted normally about 18 months before I go downhill again. So it's you know, that said, they're talking about changing my treatment, and I'll know sometime during this week because I had when I started my chemotherapy, this round of chemotherapy back in January, they took a PET CT scan, and they take a PET CT scan every 4 months while you're on treatment to see if there's any difference between the start scan and this scan. They call it a check scan. That determines how the treatment is working. So if the tumour load is being reduced, then they keep the treatment as is. If the tumour load is raised, they obviously increase the dosage of the treatment or look at giving you alternative treatment. So I had my check scan 2 weeks ago, and I spoke to the hospital on Friday, and they said they're going to have a meeting about me this week. They can't tell me exactly what's happening in the meeting because they're waiting for the radiologist, the consultant radiologist report. But once that's in, they might be changing my treatment or they might not. I don't know. But if the treatment's successful, I've got to wait 2 years, 2 years past chemo, and then I will be able to get insurance because going to America when you've got cancer, I mean, you can imagine that some of the medications, I mean, I did some pricing up on them. Some of my medications, one of my tablets that I'm taking is £400 a tablet. That's like $500 it costs. One of the injections I'm having, one of the infusions is £1,300. I have to have one of those a week. Um, uh, that's how much it actually costs. So you can imagine that if I actually fell sick while I was on holiday in America, the medical bills would be absolutely phenomenal. When you're on active chemotherapy and you're immunocompromised, the insurance companies don't want to touch you because you're a risk. There's a risk that I will get ill. I I've heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, because this is the decision that I've made. I've heard that if you can't get travel insurance, I've heard now that in America, that's one of the questions they ask you on the visa waiver form, and they won't let you in if you haven't got medical cover. I've only heard that. That might be a load of old bollocks. I've only heard that because it's my decision. It's and my partner agrees with me. It would be absolutely stupid to travel to America without medical insurance cover. I'm all right travelling within Europe, even though the United Kingdom is not part of the European Union anymore. We still have a reciprocal health agreement with most of the countries that I travel to, like Spain is my favourite country. So we've got the new medical cards, and I can still get medical treatment in Spain. But even then, I still go with insurance. I won't get insurance for my cancer, but I still go with medical insurance in case I break my leg out there, because you don't want to break your leg out in Spain and have to walk home or something like that. But yeah. So being over the pond, both North America and Canada, we'll class them both as North America, is out for me at the moment, I'm afraid. So large bags holding milk, I can't come and join you. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I wish I could. I've got a lot of friends in America. Some of them I haven't seen for 12 years, so I need to catch up with again. Um, a couple of them I've caught up with when they've been here. They've come over in the last few years, but not since COVID. But I really want to get back out there in America. I mean, a couple of them have never left. I've got a friend, Holly. Holly, she lives in Texas, and she's never seen the sea. I can't believe that she's never seen the sea. And I've got a promise, Holly. I've got a promise. I promised her many years ago that I will come over to America, and I will drive her to the beach. She's seen it on television, but she's like nearly 50 now, and she's never put her foot in the sea. And I promised her that I will come over there and I will pick her up and I will take her to the beach. The beach is probably about 400 miles from where she lives. It doesn't matter. I promised her that I'll do that. And I can't. I wish I could. I can't. And I really want to touch base. I've got another friend there, Neil, who lives in Oregon. And he's a great guy. And we often have quite a lot of FaceTime. Well, it's not FaceTime. We do Skype chats. We have a drink that way, but we've never actually met in person. And I keep. He knows a couple of friends of mine as well from playing. We all met playing games, and he knows got my personal friends. We've all said that we'll go out there and we'll spend a weekend with him at his campsite, getting absolutely wankered and having a barbecue. And we keep promising to do that, but that's not happened again because of my illness. So I would like to get back out there again. I would. I've missed my friends. I'd like to keep my promise to Holly before I die or she dies. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like never having dipped your foot in the ocean. But America, as I know, is a big country, and yeah, you may not do that. So I'm going to have another beer. I'm going to open up another beer. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, you know, just bring it on. I've got one on Twitch and one on YouTube. Oh, let me just have another bit of a beer. Come on, don't leave me to do all the work. Hey, let's have an AMA. Let's talk about anything. Oh, cheers. Oh, nothing like a belch with a beer. Go on, because I'm getting exhausted. Or I'll have to end the stream because obviously tonight I'm competing against cat shitting in a litter tray, which is obviously the most popular stream out there on Reddit. I don't know. I've got 30, 12. Oh, I'm down to 60 now. I said let's get interactive, and 60 are buggered off. So that I think that says it all. The fact that you're disappearing in droves, I think says it all. I think it's time that I wasn't here. So I think I will call it a night. As much as it's been nice chatting to you, I think seeing as you've all gone, I'm not getting any interaction from you. I will call it a night. So last chance, if you want to keep me here, let's find something to chat about. If not, I'm off. So are we going for it? I guess not. Right. Okay. Okay, guys. Then that's it from me. So until Friday next week or Friday this week, I will catch you guys later. So I will see you on Friday. Yeah, I know Reddit is so fucking slow, Miss Moose WC. I can tell you now that there's a nearly 2 minute lag between what I'm doing and what I'm watching myself on Reddit, and it's nearly 2 minutes from the time that I actually say something here live, and it goes out on Reddit. I'm also watching myself on YouTube, Twitch as well, and there's no lag. I don't think there's any lag on YouTube at all. Let me just check. Let me just check. Is there any lag on YouTube? Just wave. Yeah, wave. Just gonna wave at myself. 5 seconds. 6 seconds lag on YouTube. Let's have a look at Twitch. Let's wave at myself again. Eight seconds lag on YouTube, and let's try it on Reddit. All right, let's put the thumb up right now. Right, see what the lag is. 5 seconds. 8 seconds. 15 seconds. 20 seconds. Oh, 20 seconds. It's down to 20 seconds. But even so, 20 seconds is a bit of a fucking lag, isn't it? I mean, YouTube is like YouTube is 5 or 6 seconds. But Reddit has got a hell of a lag, and I've noticed that before, that it is so slow. And the other thing is, it gets a lot of connection. Issues. No, I realise that the subject is hard to respond when the subject has moved on, Miss Moose. I do realise. But it wasn't really a subject at that point. I think we've exhausted the subject. I was talking about my cancer and how I can't get medical insurance to transfer to the. I was talking about cancer and how I can't go to the United States at the moment because I'm on active chemotherapy, and I can't get medical insurance. And going to the United States without medical insurance is one of the most stupid things you can do, I think. So that's the subject it was. So with the 20-second delay, it means you can still have sort of a conversation. So I don't know if you've got anything to add to that. I'll wait. I'll have a bit of a beer and wait. I'm just seeing if there's a way that I can cut down the lag. I've just refreshed my browser. I'm seeing if that's the way I can cut down the lag. But no. I seem to have lost myself now. I can't find myself on Reddit, so I've lost myself. Cannot. Even citizens of the Utah cannot travel because they are not covered. Is that? I've got to tell you. Miss Mass. I've been told. I might be wrong. I've been told that you won't, if you haven't got medical insurance, you're not. They won't let you in. They won't give you. They won't allow you to be part of the visa waiver program, and they won't let you into the United States. I don't know if that's a fact or not, because it's my choice not to travel. It's my choice not to try it. I mean, like I said, going to the States without medical insurance is absolute lunacy. Oh, all right. I was just going to ask you: is it some sort of legal way that stops people from travelling between states? Is there a legal thing that stops it, or is it just they're like me? They actually make the conscious decision not to do it. That's what I was going to ask. But otherwise, yeah, we'll talk again soon. Sorry, we can't. We're not talking. 2 million dollar hospital bill if you get shot in the US, which there is a higher probability you think. No, bye, Miss Mouse. I'm sorry we can't talk. Yeah, bye. So another time. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine that large bags holding milk. I can imagine it's quite high. Um, and there's a higher probability of getting shot in the United States because of your particular gun culture, which obviously has been in the news with the tragedy at Old Vader. It's always a shame when children suffer. Why children? Why children? I don't understand that. I don't understand why you have to do children. Children to me really are the innocence of the world. At least give them a chance to have their childhood. Don't take it away like that. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible tragedy. Terrible tragedy. I'm going to talk about American gun laws now. Actually, I'm not anti-gun. In fact, if I turn my green screen off, I'll show you how not anti-gun I am. Let me just turn my green screen off. Let me just turn my green screen off for a second. I'll show you how not anti-gun I am. There we go. Does that give you a clue how not anti-gun I am? Can you see what's behind me? Let's turn that down a bit. There we go. Can you see what I've got on my wall behind me? So I am not anti-gun in any way, shape, or form. I'm very pro-gun, but what I am is I'm very anti. Yes, my entire room is painted in a green screen. This is my den, and my entire room is painted in a green screen, which is how I can have all these effects going on behind me. I'm very pro-gun. I own guns, as you can see from the guns on my wall. But I've never shot a living creature. Never shot a living creature, and I never will shoot a living creature. My guns are air rifles, UK legal air rifles. And I shoot paper. I plink in my garden, and I enjoy shooting. It's a very relaxing thing to do. But I've never shot any living creature in my life, even though things like rats and foxes and squirrel and vermin. I believe that all life is sacred. I'm not religious, but I believe all life is sacred, and I've never shot a living creature. I never will. I don't even like killing living creatures. Except wasps. Wasps I can't stand. Wasps, them little fuckers deserve to die at every opportunity. I can't stand wasps. But I think shooting a wasp with an air rifle is a bit overkill. What I'm finding is that the rednecks in the rednecks in the NRA. I'm not anti-gun. What I am is anti-stupid things people say. And there's two phrases that I've seen bandied about this week that have really, really made me look at them and think, do you know how stupid you sound when you say that, right? Phrase one, guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard anybody say. It really is a really stupid thing saying. And when you say that, it makes you look stupid. Do you know what? Killing people is the primary job description of a gun. All right, that's what guns are designed to do. All right, they're not designed to hammer in nails. They're not at all. Right, they're not designed to hammer in nails. Okay, they're not designed to drive in screws. All right, they're not designed to build a highway. No, guns are designed to kill in the quickest way possible. Kill as many people as quickly as possible. That's exactly what guns do. They are designed as killing machines. So it's actually guns that kill people, not people killing people, it's guns. All right? So when you say guns don't kill people, people kill people, you're all idiots. I mean, if you look at any autopsy report, right, it doesn't say killed by a person, it says killed by a gunshot or death by gunshot wound. You know, it's guns kill people. So saying guns don't kill people, people kill people, it makes you just look like an idiot. All right? And the other thing that they say, which makes you look like an even bigger idiot, is you won't take my gun away from me. It's a God-given right. Okay. Show me in the Bible where it says that. I'll wait. I'm not religious, but I've studied the Bible. I studied it at school, right? And nowhere in the Bible does it even elucidate that people have a right to a firearm. God doesn't even talk. Firearms weren't even invented when God was doing whatever God does or did, right? And there's nothing in the Bible, absolutely nothing in the Bible anywhere that gives anybody the right to bear any arms. There's nothing at all. And that's the Christian Bible. I believe the same is in the Quran. There's nothing. So when they actually say that it's a God-given right, they're just making themselves look stupid. And they do. They trot out those two mantras. And I think if that's the only way you can justify having a gun, you're making yourself look like an idiot. All right, you make yourself look like an idiot because these two things don't actually exist. You know, there is no God-given right. God never gave you the right to have a firearm. Show me where it says in the Bible. It doesn't. And guns don't kill people. People kill people. No, guns kill people. Right? Guns kill people. That is the job description of a gun. That's what they were designed to do, to kill things. Okay, let's just be realistic about it. That's what guns do. So those arguments for me just make people look a bit stupid. Just look a bit stupid. But I'm not anti-gun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-gun. I don't understand US gun laws, I must admit. I mean, in the United Kingdom here, we we had a tragedy. We had a school tragedy in 1996. In 1997, the then government banned all guns. We've got firearms, all right. Unless you can still have a shotgun. I'll come to that in a minute. Um, we've got a unique situation here where our Olympic pistol team can't even train in the UK. They have to go to France to train for the Olympics because they're not allowed to train in the UK because they're not allowed to have handguns. Handguns are completely banned, okay, except for single shot, non-breech loading guns. You can still buy a guns don't kill people, people kill people. They didn't shoot themselves with a person, they shot themselves with a gun. All right, it's the gun that killed them. All right, no matter how they shot themselves, doesn't matter. It was the gun that killed them. All right, if they didn't have the gun, they wouldn't have died. So guns do kill people, and like I say, it's what guns are designed for. It's the primary job description of a gun to kill things, all right, insectoid. So don't say guns don't kill people; they fucking do. All right. What about those kids in the US that got curious and shoot themselves? They did it with a gun. It's the gun that killed them. On their autopsy report, it will say they died from a gunshot wound. They didn't die from a person. They died from a gunshot wound. It's the gun that kills. All right. So it makes you look stupid if you say it's not. It's the gun that killed. All right. It's as simple as that. Anything else is just ridiculous. So yeah, we banned handguns completely. In 1986, we had a massacre in Hungerford committed by a guy called Michael Ryan. I forget. I think he shot about 13 people. He had a Kalashnikov and a couple of assault rifles. Well, that same year, we completely banned rifles and assault weapons. Completely banned. In 1997, after the Dunblane massacre, we completely banned all handguns because he was shot. He shot something like 17 children with a Smith and Wesson 38 and a 9mm automatic. So we completely banned handguns. The only guns you can legally own in this country now are shotguns, long rifles, which are generally rimfire ones, and the only pistols you can own in this country now are the antique non-breech loading ones. They're the ones you have to put the ball and the powder in single shot. Because what we've done is we've actually banned any weapon that has any gun that has the potential to kill people en masse. Shotguns, you can't have an automatic shotgun. You can't own a shotgun. I think the shotgun is limited to 5 shells. I think 5 or 7 shells. I'm not too up on the shotgun laws, but the riot shotguns are illegal in this country because they're designed to kill as many people or incapacitate as many people as possible in the shortest possible time. They're banned. You can have a shotgun, and you can have a long rifle, which is generally a 2.2 rimfire, which I mean, one of my air guns is more powerful than a 2.2 rimfire. But even my air rifles, you can't have repeater air rifles. They've all got to be single shot. You've got to be cocked between each shot. Oh, sorry. Okay, insectoid. That's not how it came across. I'm sorry. I thought you were arguing for this stupidity that guns don't kill people, whereas they do. But sorry, my mistake. I misread that. I do misread that. Yeah, sorry. Now you've explained that, I completely understand. So that's what we did. We completely took away any weapon that's capable of killing people or maiming, incapacitating them. Use whatever term you like on a large scale. Even my rifle's all single shot. One of them is a repeater. Well, it's not a repeater. It's a 10 shot. It's got a 10 shot magazine, but it has to be cocked and loaded by hand. I've got to pull the bolt back and push it forward between each shot, which means that I can't kill 19 people. Well, I couldn't kill 19. My UK legal air rifles are limited to 12 foot-pounds, which is 16 joules. I mean, the other day somebody said to me, "Have you ever shot a fox with your air rifle?" I said, "No, I've not. I've never shot a living creature. I don't believe in shooting living creatures." They said, "Could you kill a fox with your air rifle?" And I said, "Well, of course I could." And they said, "How easy it would be?" I said, "Well, I don't know. It depends on the fox, because the only way I could kill a fox with my air rifle is to sneak up on it and smack it round the head with it." And he said, "Oh, you can't shoot it then?" I said, "No, not with a 12 foot-pound rifle. No." You know, all you do is piss it off. You just piss it off, not kill it. So those are the only weapons we're allowed to have. And as you can see from when I turn my green screen off, I've got 3 of them on the wall behind me because I do enjoy shooting in my garden. I absolutely love it. It's very relaxing. But I only ever shoot paper, so I'm definitely not anti-gun. Definitely not anti-gun. I've got some pistols as well. I've got a replica Webley Mark 6 which fires CO2 pistol. Again, limited to the UK legal limit, which is 6 joules for 6 foot-pounds, or 10 joules, I think, for UK legal. But it's a lovely little gun, and it really is a replica. It's the exact same weight as the Webley Mark 6 that was used in the First World War. But it couldn't hit anything. It's a shit gun. I mean, even at 10 metres, I can't hit a target on that at 10 metres. So I'm not anti-gun in any respect at all. I'm just anti-stupidity. I'm just the anti-stupid things that people say. Yeah. So anyway, we completely removed handguns except for shotguns and long rifles. Now, to own a shotgun or a long rifle, you have to apply to the police for a certificate. And one of the things you have to do is you have to prove that you've got the mental capacity, because they will take up references and they will talk to your general practitioner, your doctor, right, to find out if you're a nutter. Another thing they do is you've got to state the reason why you want a shotgun. Just that alone stops 99% of people from owning one. Think about it, right? You've got to state a reason why you want a shotgun. If you live in a city like I do, you're not going to get one. There's no reason for anybody who lives in a city to have a shotgun. None at all. Before you all come back to me and say, well, yeah, what about hunting? The largest wild animal we have in the UK is a fox. And they're actually a protected species, believe it or not. You can't hunt anything in the. There's nothing to hunt. I mean, I think we used to have some wild boar at one time, but no, the largest wild animal we have in this country is a fox, or maybe a heron or a crane. Again, they're a protected species. The only animals in this country that are classed as vermin that you can legally shoot are pigeons, rats, and squirrels. Grey squirrels only, not red squirrels. No, don't ever shoot a red squirrel. Oh, one of you, who was it? Oh, insectoid burnt out a wasp nest. That was fun. You can still have a gun insectoid if you're in the UK. I've got guns. I've got air rifles. I love my air rifles. Absolutely fantastic. Oh yes, of course we've got deer. Yeah, deer. Deer. They're a protected species. You can't shoot deer. They're a protected species as well. I keep forgetting about deer because I live in the city, so I don't see a lot of deer. But yeah, we have. We definitely have deer. I forgot about deer. You're right. So deer is the largest wild animal, but as I understand it, they're a protected species, so you can't shoot. It's not like we haven't got polecats, we haven't got lynxes, we haven't got cougars, we haven't got wild bears, brown bears, or black bears. So we don't need to protect ourselves like they do in some countries from animals. Another reason you might put down is self-defense. Well, you can't, because nobody else has got a gun. The chances of getting a home invasion are very rare in this country, and a home invasion with a weapon are so rare. I've never heard of one. I've never heard of a home invasion where somebody's got into a home armed with a gun. I'm sure they've happened, but I've never heard of them. So it's very rare. So self-defense is not a reason for having a firearm, because nobody else has got a firearm. So you can spend your entire life. I mean, I've got air weapons. I belong to clubs. I do come across firearms. When I was younger, I did have a firearms certificate. So I've actually come across firearms. But most people in this country will spend their entire life and not come across a single firearm, or know anybody that's had any dealings with a firearm. And that's us. That's what we did after 2 very prominent massacres. In Australia in 1998, in 1997, they had a very high-profile massacre, which 31 people were killed. I could Google it, but it happened in a university campus. 31 people were killed. The very next year, they just completely did what we did and banned guns. And they had an amnesty where they did what we did and brought back the legally owned guns from all of the owners. And this happened in 1998. So we did it in 1997. Australia did it in 1998. And since then, neither country, either us or Australia, has suffered a major gun massacre. There's been a couple of gun incidents, and I recall one from a few years back where some nutter up north went mad and shot 5 people with a shotgun. But I mean, there's a difference between shooting 5 people over 2 days than shooting 19 people in 2 minutes, isn't there? Eventually he killed himself. Best result. I forget his name now. But I can't think of any others other than that. I don't even think it was 5. I think it was less than that. So we've not had since 1997 here, and since 1998 in Australia, we haven't had the sort of massacre that's happening in America almost weekly now. So as much as I'm pro-gun, I do believe that the guys in America need to do something about guns, and I think the ideal solution would be what we've done is just completely ban them outright. But then we'll get people throwing those crazy phrases at us, like I say, I'm not anti-gun, I'm anti-stupidity, and you get people quoting, it's a God-given right. No, it's not. No, it's not. No. There's nothing in the Bible at all about it. Nothing at all about it. All right, there is nothing written anywhere apart from in your minds that says that God said you can have a gun. In fact, like I said, when God was doing God things over 2,000 years ago, guns didn't actually exist, so he couldn't have said yes, you can have a gun. It didn't exist; they weren't invented. So that's just talking shit. Or as somebody else said, that sounds like horseshit. Well, it is horseshit. When you say it's a God-given right, it's horseshit. All right, you don't know what you're talking about. You've obviously never studied a Bible in your life, because there's nothing at all in the Bible that gives you any rights to bear arms. Nothing at all. In fact, it does quite often say the exact opposite. So if I lived in America with my mental sickness, would I be able to get a gun? I'm not an American. I don't know insectoid. But I do know from watching television, whether it's true or not, bear in mind it's television, there is quite a healthy illegal gun market in America. So I would imagine, yes, if the price was right, you could get a gun. Maybe not legally, but I'm pretty sure you could go to any downtown area and you'd be able to get a gun within a matter of hours. You wouldn't have a problem getting a gun in America because they're so freely available, quite illegally. But you'd probably get one. Yeah, I would imagine you would. I don't know. If any Americans out there, come on, guys. Any of you Americans out there, can you answer his question? Could he get a gun with a mental illness? I'm saying yes, even though he's yes, but it would be illegal. But I think guns are very easy to get hold of out there. I have no idea how to get hold of an illegal gun in this country. There's the urban legend that if you go into a pub and just ask somebody, "Oh, can I get a gun?" they'll get you a gun. But if you go into a pub and say, "Oh, can I get a gun?" you're liable to get your head kicked in. So, yeah, it's one of those things. So, so I wouldn't know. So I don't know about the background checks in sectoid. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've been to America many times and I've never even considered buying a gun or getting a gun out there. There you go, Miss Spanky. There you go. There's your answer, Miss Spanky. Yes, you can get a gun. You can get a gun. I wouldn't know. I've never considered. I went out there once. I think somebody once told me that you've got to wait if you're not an American, like I'm a British citizen in America. You can actually get a gun, but you've got to wait 30 days. I believe that's 30 days. I believe that's the only requirement. You have to wait 30 days before you can get a gun. I don't know. I mean, it is a separate country, and they've got their own laws, their own regulations, their own cultures. From my point of view, from coming from a country where we have almost absolute gun control, and I hold up the fact that there hasn't been any major massacres since we imposed it, as That's my point of view. And I see American gun control, and I think you do need to do something. Um, you do need to control access to firearms. I'm not saying ban them completely, but I do think you need to control them. And then the old argument always arises: well, if you take away my gun but leave the criminals with the guns, what am I going to defend myself with? Well, we don't need to take away your gun, do we? What we need to do is we need to, first of all, we need to remove all of the illegal guns. How do you remove an illegal gun from a country like that? Well, quite simply, you increase the penalties for gun owners. You increase the penalties for using a gun to such a point that people just don't want to use them. I mean, it would be a mandatory death penalty for the illegal use of a firearm would be a good starting point. If you use a gun, you will lose your life. That will certainly stop people from using guns. A shoot to kill policy would stop it. You know, if you pull a gun on a police officer, we won't try and talk. We'll shoot you. We'll kill you. You know, it's not. And a pretty much a shoot to kill policy is unofficially there. But you've got to do something like that. You've got to make the penalty for using and owning a gun illegally, untraceably, very, very. You've got to do it. And even then, people will still slip through the gaps. But that's reducing the risk. That's reducing the risk. The more guns you can take out of circulation, the better. With legal gun owners, there's no need to take the guns away from them. But if you ban the sale of guns, right? If you ban the sale of guns and you make gun ownership, the penalties for illegal gun ownership so high that people don't want to be caught with a gun, you don't need to take away the legal gun owner's gun. All you have to do is wait. All right, it's a bit of a long-term solution, but it will work. You just have to wait. Wait for what? Well, the gun owner to die. When they die, their gun becomes unlicensed and they can't just pass it on to somebody. And because you can't buy new guns or can't buy second-hand guns, you can't sell it to a relative. So the gun then becomes, once the gun owner's died, the gun then becomes an illegal gun. So you have to either hand it in or risk the penalties. If your gun breaks down, you can't get it replaced because you can't buy other guns. So temporary wastage, natural wastage, will remove the illegal guns without actually taking guns away from people, making the penalties so strict for illegal use of guns will also discourage them. Yes, there's still going to be a lot of crime, but gradually over time, you'll make it go away. You really will. But you don't see that. You really don't see that. There are ways of doing it without actually upsetting everybody. But it'll take time. It'll take a lot of time. And of course, all of the gun manufacturers in the United States will be a bit pissed off if their market suddenly disappeared, wouldn't they? I mean, they make a fortune out of guns in the United States, don't they? Make an absolute fortune. But you can control it, and saying there are ways of controlling guns without actually taking people's right away to own a firearm. You just let them own the firearm. Just don't let them replace it. So that's it. Police pretty much shoot someone is armed. Yeah, I know it's not official. I'm just speculating. All right? I'm not saying it's going to be policy, but there'll be things that I would look at. I'm just using that as an example. I would make the penalty for gun ownership so enormous, illegal gun ownership so enormous. I mean, mandatory life imprisonment. You know, if you use a gun to commit a crime, you will go to prison for the rest of your natural life. All right, no appeals, no arguments. That's what happens if you use a gun. It will make people think twice. You know, it's a shoot to kill policy is another one. If you go armed, we will kill you. If the police will kill you, and I wouldn't want to go armed. Well, I wouldn't want to go armed anyway. So it's a difficult one, I know, but there are ways to remove guns from the population without offending or taking away people's right to bear arms. My partner said, well, yeah. She said, yeah, it's written into their constitution. She said, the Constitution is a living document. She said, the right to bear arms is living in the Constitution. So why don't the Americans, yeah, all they've got to do is just allow them to bear the arms that they had 275 years ago. Oh, yeah, that's another answer, yeah. Yeah, you can have a gun as long as it's a flintlock, as long as it's 275 years old. That will solve the other problem. I mean, the problem as I see it, right, the problem as I see it is it's not the guns as such are the problem. It's the fact that the guns that you have are designed to kill as many people as possible in the shortest time possible, which is why we banned automatic weapons, why we banned handguns. All right? It's as simple as that. I mean, even something like a revolver, which has got 6 shots, can potentially kill 6 people in under 5 seconds. We banned them. Automatic pistols, banned. 11 shots or 17 shot magazines. I think there's some 23 shot magazines now, aren't there? They're all banned. They're all banned. We didn't ban Sir Waffler's age of me. We didn't ban guns after World War II. The first real gun ban came in 1986 after the Hungerford Michael Ryan went mad in a town called Hungerford. That's when we banned automatic weapons, because prior to 1986 you could legally own an automatic weapon. You could legally own an assault rifle in this country. So it wasn't after World War II, it was 1986 when the first real gun bans came in. After World War II, we had amnesties in place where you surrendered the guns you got from the war, but you could legally, with a firearms certificate, you could legally own virtually any type of gun. And it wasn't until 1986 that we banned assault weapons and assault rifles and automatic rifles. And then in 1997, we finished that off by banning revolvers and handguns, and any gun capable of firing more than one shot. So to say it was after World War II is not quite right, because you could own guns quite legally up until 1986. I know an 18-year-old has no concept of what a life imprisonment is. I'm just chewing the fat here, but what I'm saying is there are alternatives to taking away people's guns. There are alternatives to it. They're long term, but they do work, and they will cut down the massacre. I mean, if you said right now, from this point onwards, nobody is allowed to buy a gun anymore, right? If I recall correctly, every one of the massacres that's happened since the year 2000 has been done by legal owned guns. Columbine, the gun was legally owned. This one in Alveda, the gun was legally owned. That one in the cinema back there a couple of months back, that was a legally owned gun. There's a Waco was legally owned guns. So all the big massacres have always been by legally owned guns. So even if tomorrow you say, right, from tomorrow, nobody can buy a gun anymore. You cannot buy an automatic weapon. You cannot buy a revolver. You cannot buy a pistol. Even if you did that, that would eventually result in a massive reduction of these massacres. It would result in a massive reduction. Instead of having what happens almost once a week now, you might have one once every couple of years. And you're doing that, and that doesn't affect anybody's rights. That doesn't take away anybody's rights to own a gun. They can keep the guns they've got. They just can't get new ones. And that eventually will eventually remove the illegal guns from the population. And that's what it's about, removing the illegal guns, by making the penalties for having illegal guns so stiff that people will want to get rid of them. They won't want to use them, or they'll want to give them up. I mean, Australia bought back all of the guns at the fair market price. You can imagine a druggie, right, that's got a 9mm Beretta, and the government suddenly says, well, we'll give you $300 for that. He's going to surrender, isn't he? I mean, it's his next fix, isn't it? And that's what you do, is you first of all, you stop new guns from coming into circulation, and then you look at how to remove the guns that are already in circulation without taking away people's rights. You don't have to touch the people that legally hold guns. You just have to look at the way of making the criminals either not use their guns or want to give them in. And that will happen. I mean, every single gun, unless it's actually owned with a certificate, every single gun that comes across is confiscated and destroyed. And with no new guns coming in, it will eventually reduce it. And that's the name of the game. It won't stop it completely. I mean, like I say, I hold the United Kingdom and Australia up. I'm not too up on Australian history, but I know in the UK, since Dunblane in 1996, and we put the final ban on guns in 1997, we haven't had a high school massacre. There have been there's been 2 or 3 mass shooting incidents to my knowledge, but I think they've been a maximum of 5 people, and they've all been done with shotguns, and they've not been done in such a short period of time. They've been done over several days. I forget the name of the guy. There's a guy in the Midlands that went mad with a gun, blonde-haired guy, and I forget his name now. Roll something. Roll. Oh God, what was his name? Roll. Hang on, let's have a look. Let's Google it. I'm sure his name was Roll. Hang on. I'm sure that's what his name was. Oh. Oh. No, do you know what? I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name. He shot about 5 people, and then ended up hiding in a tent and eventually shooting himself. Roll Moat, that's it. Roll Moat. I knew it was Roll something. Roll Moat and Derek Bird. Yes, those are the two. Those are the two. Those are the two. Those are the two that come to mind. But even then, they weren't massacres on the standard of Dunblane, and they weren't massacres on the standard of Hungerford. They were. You're talking about 3 to 4 people over an elongated period of time, and they certainly didn't walk into a school, and they certainly didn't massacre children. So, although one of them, I think Derek Bird killed a child, didn't he? I think so, if I remember rightly. Um, but it goes to prove that all the countries, I mean, you're looking at the United Kingdom have got very strict gun laws. Canada have got very strict gun laws, as I understand it. Australia, New Zealand, even Norway. After the Anders Breivik in Norway, the guy that went onto that island and shot all those people. Norway brought in phenomenal gun control, and again, since then, all the massacres have stopped. And they've been drastically cut. So there are countries now worldwide that are proving that if you control gun ownership, you reduce the problem, and that's what it is. You reduce the problem, and it's unkind here. I heard somebody say the other day after this massacre, and they're very blasé about it. They said, "Oh, it's Tuesday. There must be another massacre in the United States." And I could understand what they were saying. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it's a very callous view, but I can understand what they were saying. It's almost like there's a massacre in the United States weekly. So that's my opinion on it, and I'm not anti-gun. I'm not anti-gun by any stretch of the imagination. For those that don't know, I'm going to show you what my room looks like without the green screen, just to prove how anti-gun I'm not. Right? This is what my room looks like without the green screen. Okay? Does that show you how pro-gun I am? Does that give you a clue? If you look behind me, you can see what's on the wall. So let me just put my green screen back on again. And yes, my room is painted green. That's my green screen. My room, my den is a green screen room. But I'm a gun owner, and I think that as you can see, look, all right, you've seen what's behind me. So I think you can look at what there are ways of controlling them. It's as simple as that. Yeah, exactly, Miss Mass. Anything like that, Miss Mass. Anything like that. Anything on those views. So people are getting a knee-jerk reaction. Don't take away my gun because it's my God-given right. You don't have to. You don't have to. You just want to make people give them up. And that's what happened in Australia. Australia did a mandatory buyback. They bought back guns at a fair market price. And like I say, if you've got a druggie that's got a gun, right, and the US government say, let's buy back guns. Oh, we're going to change the subject, are we? Oh, we're going to change the subject. All right, we'll change the subject. All right. Imp Schaff wants to talk about Brexit. All right, we'll change the subject. Okay. Brexit is the world's biggest con, isn't it? I can't believe how we got conned. I voted for Brexit, right, because I expected on the day we left the European Union, right, somebody would put a big sail up around about Manchester and the whole of the United Kingdom would float off somewhere. And I was hoping we'd end up in the Azores. I thought the island of Great Britain could do with the Azores. It's got a nice climate. Imagine my horror when we actually left and we're still 22 miles away from Europe. What a con. And then on top of that, right, we're still in the Eurovision contest. How does that work? Right. I thought we left that. I thought that's what Brexit was all about. We were leaving Europe. So we never ended up in the Azores, right? We're still exactly where we were before we were in Europe. 22 miles away from Europe. We haven't moved. So that's a con. And we're still in the Eurovision Song Contest. That's another con. So yeah, Brexit's been a big con. There you go. That's my opinion on Brexit. That's my opinion on Brexit. See, I knew we could talk about something. But we haven't left the EU in shift. We're still joined by a tunnel. We're still 20 miles, 22 miles away. We're still in the fucking Eurovision Song Contest. So no, we haven't left Europe at all. We haven't left Europe at all. We're still where we were. We're still where we were 3 years ago. I think it's only the politicians that are making a bit of a fuss about it. Are we doing all right? Yeah. If you want to know, right, leaving the European Union really hasn't affected me one way or the other. I might have to show my passport when I go to Spain. But other than that, I don't. A lot of people made Brexit about racism. They voted to leave the European Union because of immigration. So they made it about racism. I didn't. I'm proud to say that I voted out. All right, and everything that's happened since I voted, nothing has made me change my mind that I made the incorrect vote. As far as I'm concerned, I voted out, and my reasons for voting out are still as solid as they are today as they were then. In fact, quite a lot of what has happened since then has reinforced my decision. Yes, Miss Mash, Boris does think, Boris, the Prime Minister, he looks like he slept in a hedge. All right? I can't believe the scruffy cunt is our Prime Minister. He actually looks like he slept in a hedge. And I want him out. I want him gone. So I voted for Brexit based on a very simple... Yes, I realised that, Miss Mash. I did realise you were an American. I voted for Brexit on a very simple premise. From my position, right, I could see that we were going to have the United States of Europe. That's where I would see European heading. Europe was heading to become one giant country, swallowing up all the countries within it. And I didn't like the idea of that. I didn't want to be part of a Federal Republic of Europe or the United States of Europe. I wanted to be the United Kingdom. I wanted to be this little island, this little country that has its own identity, has its own currency, has its, and that's what I didn't want to be. When it can determine its own course in the world, not tied into a bigger country. I'll see you in the morning, darling. Yeah. Good night. I didn't want to be this country that was tied into another country. So that's why I voted for. To leave the European Union, because I didn't want to be part of another country. I like being in Great Britain. I like being in the United Kingdom. It's not about immigration at all, because if you look at the history of the United Kingdom, we are actually a mongrel nation. The whole nation is built on immigration. For as long as we know, that's how the country's made up. Incidentally, saying that, I've had 3 DNA tests done with 3 different companies, and the results, to trace the family history, and the results have all come back exactly the same, right? my parental lineage has been on the island of Great Britain since the Bronze Age. And I've come back at being 98.5% British. All right, I'm not a mongrel. I'm a thoroughbred. My entire line has been since the Bronze Age from Britain. What's interesting is 3 of my children have had DNA tests done as well, and all 3 of my children, their lineage is mostly Viking, Scandinavian. The reason for that is because their mother, my ex-wife, her lineage comes back from the Vikings, and how they intermingled with the population in the UK, because she's got Scottish roots, and the Vikings invaded Scotland before they invaded England, so they intermingled with the population. It turns out that my kids have got something like 25% Scandinavian in them, so and it just goes to prove what a mongrel nation we really are. But it just appears my line, because of where we are, where we come from, being right down in the south of England, avoided this intermixing with the Vikings. But my parental line has been in the UK since the Bronze Age. You're right. Imshaft, the British Empire has gone and will never come to be again. But I don't want the British Empire back. But I do want to be this little island that is self-determining, with its own identity and its own currency, not answering to anybody else. That's got nothing to do with imperialism. That's got everything to do with being an independent country. And I could smell the rot coming when they started to introduce the euro. You take away a country's currency, you're taking away its identity. The dollar defines America. The pound defines Britain. The euro is just, it may seem like a good idea at first, but it takes away your identity. I remember when France was the franc and Holland was the guilder and Italy was the Spain was the peseta. You actually felt like you were in another country, but when you're in the Europe now, it's not. It doesn't feel the same. The currency used to identify the country, and it doesn't anymore. So that's. I don't know whether Boris showers. I don't know whether Boris showers Miss Mouse. I mean, honestly, the man does look like he slept in a hedge. It looks like he went out on the piss the night before and fell asleep in a hedge and woke up like that. I mean, the man is scruffy. The man is a disgrace. I can't understand how our prime minister is such a scruffy bastard, and B, how he keeps having these relationships with all these different women. I mean, he's just like there's nothing masculine or manly about him, is there at all? Unless they're attracted to power. And I bet he's hung like a worm. I don't know. What's the fishing industry like? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know anything about the fishing industry. Only what I see on the news. Only what I see on the news. Lurking while Poopage just answered that question for Mac. Did the euro become European wide? No, I don't think it did. I think that there's some countries that don't use it. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but there's some countries that don't use it. Germany is full of Islamic invaders. Like I said, when I voted for Brexit, it was not about racism. It was not about immigration, and I don't particularly want to go there because we are. Like I said, if you actually study the history of the United Kingdom, you'll find that we're a mongrel nation. And I believe if you study the history of Germany, you'll find out the same thing about your own country, that you actually come from a long line of immigrants. So to disrespect immigrants is taking a very bigoted, narrow view. Thank you, Miss Mass. Thank you, Miss Mass. Thank you. I didn't intend to stay on this long, but I've got 35 minutes left, so I might as well stay on there. Even though I've got one person. Oh, I've got one person watching me on YouTube. Hello, YouTube viewer. Blimey, I haven't been. I've taken my eye off the ball. Hello, YouTube viewer. I've still only got one person watching me on Twitch. So all these people that say, and every time I stream, right, people have come on and said, "Oh, you should go on Twitch. You should go on YouTube. You'll get thousands of viewers." Last night on Reddit, I streamed from the pub and I had 34,469 viewers. Um, uh, and but it's a grind. It's a grind. I'll just keep on going. I'm bound to get them. I'm bound to get them. You're not sounding like a bigot. You didn't sound like a bigot at all, Miss Mouse. Nobody sound like a bigot. You don't sound like a bigot at all. It's you don't sound like a bigot at all. It's not something that I immediately when you spoke. I didn't think of you as a bigot. You can have an opinion without sounding like a bigot. I mean, I've got opinions. I like to think that I'm not a bigot. I like to think that I'm very fair and very open-minded. But I'm sure some people think I'm a bigot. Oh, excuse me, guys. Oh, it's Mohammed. Hello, you're my YouTube viewer. I know I have one viewer. Hello, Mohammed. It's nice to my friend Mohammed. He pops up on my YouTube streams a lot, so he's a nice guy. We have some interesting chats. So hello, Mohammed. I'm only going to be here for about another 30 minutes. So if there's anything you want to chat about, Mohammed, I would say go for it now because we're done. We're just talking about Brexit at the moment, and I think we've done that to death because I'm still pissed off we're still in the Eurovision because I thought that would stop when we voted out. I thought we were voting for out of the Eurovision, but I got that wrong, didn't I? Miss Mouse WC on Reddit is saying, I am just wondering how your culture is. Can you define that a bit more? In what respect? In what respect do you mean how your culture is? Can you define or clarify your question a bit more, please, if you wouldn't mind? Oh, excuse me, yawning. Oh. midnight, yeah. So it's getting a bit late. It's midnight. So yeah, if you could expand upon your I'll wait. It's not a problem. I'll have a beer. I'll wait. Expand upon your question a bit. One thing I'm considering. What are you rewording your question? One thing I'm considering. This goes to you guys on YouTube and you guys on Twitch as well. Is having some of you on as guests. Would that interest any of you? I've got the ability that I can put you on screen at the same time as I am, so I can have you on as a guest, and we can co-host a broadcast if you like. Would that interest any of you? Just out of curiosity, I can do that via Skype. I can Skype you and then feed the Skype into the broadcast. You answer a lot. Medical travel beer. I've actually had quite Mohammed, Miss Mouse WC on Reddit has said you answer a lot. Medical travel beer. Miss Mouse, I'm 62 years old and I've lived a life of, I think, adventure. I think I've done a lot of things that I've wanted to do. I've travelled to all the places that I wanted to be. In fact, I've travelled all over the world. Not only have I travelled all over the world, I've actually circumnavigated the globe, actually been completely around the world. And I've been as far away from home as it's possible to be without leaving the planet. And I've been to, apart from one, there's only one country. There's only one country that I want to visit that I've never been to, and that's Egypt. I've never seen the pyramids. I want to see the pyramids in Egypt. That's the only country left on my bucket list, and that's a bit of a no-go area for people at the moment. It's still not safe enough, I don't think, for tourists to go into Egypt at the moment. I mean, was it 14 American tourists were massacred a couple of years back? I don't think Egypt is a very nice place at the moment. Maybe eventually I will. I'm a historian. No, I'm not a historian. I've travelled a lot. I've travelled a lot, and I've met a lot of people from many very diverse cultures. And one of the things that when you meet people from different cultures and different countries, is they always want to find out. I always want to find out about their culture, and they always want to find out about mine. So over the years, I've picked up a knowledge of my culture and different cultures. However, I did go to university, and I have got a degree in modern history. So I've got a degree in modern history from 1800 to 1980. So I do know something about modern history, modern political history, because that was a thing of mine at school. So I did study that at university, and that's what my degree is in. Although it's something I've never used. I've never ever used it. I never ever went into a career with history. I got the degree because the best way to learn about history was to study it. And if you get a degree, you study at a hell of a level. Um, so I'm not a historian in that respect. I'm not a professional historian, but I do know a lot about that. I also studied the reason I did modern political history is because I wanted to study the United Kingdom, because each country, right, has its own particular self-image that we all think we are saintly, all right. And I knew that couldn't be right. I knew that we had the British Empire, which was in effect the greatest empire the world has ever known, without a doubt. I mean, the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Roman Empire were nothing compared to the British Empire. The British Empire was the greatest empire the world has ever known. For a little while there, for 150 years, we ruled the world. This little island ruled the world, and that didn't come through being nice. That didn't come through being friendly. No, empires aren't built on handshakes, and that it came from a not very nice history. And I really wanted to find out whether the self-image we have of this great benevolent people was true, and it's not. We actually have a very, very horrible history. The United Kingdom, the British, we have a lot a lot of terrible history, and I wanted to study it. And I wanted to find out, because here's the thing about history, right? History, to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been, right? Clement Freud, the Austrian psychiatrist, once defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, I think that's what we can learn from history. And there is a parallel in history right now. This Ukraine situation has a lot of parallels to the precursor to the Second World War. There's a lot of parallels there, and it appears to me the Russians haven't learnt the lessons of the Second World War enough to understand why the rest of the world hates them for going into Ukraine. And I think that's something that will come out of this. The Russians will actually learn a lesson here. But this is history. This is because this is because you have to know where you've been. If the Russians really truly studied the precursor to World War II, the period between wars is called an antebellum. I don't know whether you know that or not, but it's called the antebellum. So the period between World War One and World War II is called an antebellum. And if the Russian leadership actually really studied that antebellum and saw what led the world into the Second World War, what really led them into the Second World War, then they would realise what they were doing right now in Ukraine was very much a parallel with what was happening in 1930 in Europe. So they failed to study history. They failed to learn the lessons from history. They don't know where they're going because they don't know where they've been. And that's what history teaches us. And that's why I studied history. That's why I enjoyed history, because you get to learn where you're going. And like I say, I also wanted to check to see if our self-image was right. I mean, I'll give you two examples in a couple of seconds. I'm just going to talk to Mohammed for a second. Yeah, Mohammed, Egypt is a dangerous place, but then again, the pyramids in Giza is worth the risk. Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I go out there, I love my partner to death. And if I go out there, if I say to me, if I convince myself it's safe, and I go out there and my partner is killed out in Egypt, well, I'd never forgive myself. All right. So, and I know there's a risk wherever you go, but I like to mitigate that risk. To be honest with you, though, if my partner, if you're given the choice, she'd probably want to go and see she'd probably go and want to see the pyramids in Peru or Mexico. To be honest, I think she's into all that. But then comes back to what I was saying earlier, that because of my cancer, I can't get medical coverage to travel. At the moment, the government, the Foreign Office, is advising against travel to Egypt, and I'll stick with their advice. I think that's my thing. Let me give you two examples where the British, right, have avoided the blame, but it's our fault. There's a lot of people that associate concentration camps with Germany and the Second World War. The British actually invented concentration camps during the Boer War. Now, the Boer War, now that's a laugh, right? That's a laugh. That happened in Africa, and that was Dutch farmers fighting British imperialism. And when we say war, what we actually meant is that these were bands of farmers, right? Armed farmers, is a military, untrained armed farmers, amateur soldiers fighting the British military, which at the time were the world's greatest military power. It wasn't really a war, okay? It wasn't really a war. So I call it a Boer War. Is a bit of a misnomer. It was more like a Boer massacre. I mean, they stood no chance, absolutely no chance, and they lost. They stood absolutely no chance, right? So it wasn't really a war. But during the Boer War, we invented the concentration camp. Yeah, not the Germans, us. We invented it. So that's part of our history that we're not very proud of. Another part of our history we're not very proud of is we invented chemical warfare, biological warfare. Not the Russians, not the Germans. You think Germans using mustard gas during World War One was the start of biological warfare? Oh no, it wasn't. We invented biological warfare about 975, 980. Okay. Ethelred the Unready, okay, invented biological warfare. And do you know what he did? He laid siege, I forget which castle it was, he laid siege to a castle. Or not a castle, he laid siege to a fortified town. Now, the only way in those days to get a town to surrender was to actually encircle it and cut it off from water and food supplies and eventually starve them and bring them out for thirst. But he wasn't content with that. No. He didn't want to starve them and bring them out. He wanted to speed it up. So do you know what they did? They actually found plague-infected animals like cows and horses that had died from the plague, and they catapulted the bodies into the town. That's biological warfare. That's what we did. We invented that. The Crusades are, when I was at school, the Crusades were touted as something wonderful and great that we did. What the Holy Crusades actually were is King Richard I would go into the Middle East and he would say to people, I'm going to give you a choice. Become Christian or I'm going to kill you. Like I said, we haven't got a very proud history. And that's why a lot of the Muslim countries actually hate Britain, because what we did during the Holy Crusades, we went mad in the Middle East. We just said to people, we didn't give them a choice. We said, become a Christian or we'll kill you. What sort of choice is that? So that's why I wanted to study British history, because these images we have of ourselves aren't really the true images. They aren't the truth, and that's why I say we are a mongrel nation. That's why the country is built on immigration, and that's why I don't like it when, like, Impschaft, which, I'm sorry, but Germany is full of Islamic invaders, is a very narrow-minded, very bigoted view. It's not one that I share, not by any stretch of the imagination, because this is how your country came about. This is how my country came about. We are built on immigration, and the immigrants came from all over the world. Germany, during the Middle Ages, Germany was a major trading power in Europe. And with trade comes immigration. And although you don't make a big thing about it in Germany there, I happen to know that you were also heavily involved in the slave trade. Even though you don't make a big thing about it, everybody blames the Americans for the slave trade. But let me tell you, the Americans were the end buyer, right? Who do you think actually went and captured the slaves and transported them there? Wasn't the Americans, was it? No, it's the Europeans. So, and we were one of them. And I believe Germany was heavily involved in the slave trades as well, with their connections in Africa, because Germany Germany did have a bit of a empire building thing, and they did become heavily involved in Africa. And they were out there. They were actually out there in Germany capturing the indigenous people and selling them to the British slave traders, who put them on boats and sent them off to America and Jamaica, and then sold them. So everybody blames America for the slave trade, but they were the end user. It was the Europeans that were actually capturing the slaves and transporting them. So it's not a wonderful history Germany's got, and plus what they did in the last century doesn't help the German cause much. But to say that Germany's full of Islamic invaders is a very racist and very bigoted view, and I don't think it is, and I think we both know it isn't, and I think you've been buying into the media too much. Nixon syphilis. What enabled the unparalleled expansion of Britain across the world to form the British Empire? This may not be correct, but this is my opinion. Back in 2013, I was on a cruise, the only cruise I've ever been on. This is very much related, right? The only cruise I've ever been on, and it was a cruise to the Canary Islands and back. And this is going somewhere, right? And on the way back, we went from Gran Canaria, and our next port of call was Cadiz. And as we came into Cadiz, an announcement came over the ship, and the captain actually stopped the ship, and he said, "Right now we are off of Cape Trafalgar, and right now this is the very spot where the British Empire started." And I went and looked it up, and he was absolutely right. It was the Battle of Trafalgar. It was where we beat the combined French and Spanish fleet. That's what caused the British Empire to expand across the world. We became virtually overnight the world's greatest naval power. And that's what fired imperialism expansion. There was nobody that could compete. There's nobody that could stop us. We destroyed the only naval power, because in them days air power didn't exist, obviously. So your strength, your protection of power, was done by navy, and we totally decimated, destroyed the only naval power in the world that could stand up against us. We just wiped them. We just destroyed them in one single battle, and that's what fired the expansion of the British Empire. A single battle, the Battle of Trafalgar. Admiral Lord Nelson destroying the French and Spanish fleet off the Cape of Trafalgar. That's what started the driving of the imperialism, because then we realised that nobody could stop us, and so we did it. We went for it. We did everything. Mohammed, I'm sorry. Beg to differ by all means, Mohammed. It may be respected. Maybe we've changed since the Holy Crusades, but I'm talking about 800 years ago. We were not liked in the Middle East because of our policy of trying to convert everybody to Christianity. Things have changed, of course. We've become a different country, but that was Richard I. That was his idea of how to meet and greet, wasn't it? So that's what happened with the British Empire. That's what started it. We became the world's greatest military power, and there was nobody that could touch us right up until about 1920. The United Kingdom was the world's greatest military power. It only changed in about 1920. No, probably about 19. It probably started changing about 1912. When the Americans started to catch up with us, when they started to industrialise more, and it started to get expensive for us to keep up the arms race with the Americans. And by about 1920, we would have ended up bankrupting ourselves trying to build bigger and better warships. So I think we gracefully withdrew. But prior to that, it was the Battle of Trafalgar. That's what happened. That's what drove the imperial expansion, the Battle of Trafalgar, because there was nobody that could stop us. And nobody did stop us. And what stopped us in the end was basically finances. We just ran out of money. So it's on the other hand, France is the most hated country in the world. I've got a friend, right, that whenever you mention France, he looks at you and says, "Oh yeah, cheese-eating surrender monkeys." He really doesn't like France. So there you go, my friend. Nietzsche's syphilis. That's what did it. A single moment in history was the Battle of Trafalgar. That's what drove the British Empire because nobody could stop us. Nobody could stop us. I think we described it as England's wooden walls. That was the main nexus. We'd been empire building long before then because we were an imperial power prior to that. Um, do you think there was any reasonable possibility of the British Empire holding on to what became the US during the War of Independence? Yes. Yeah. Um, a lot of people think the Americans won the War of Independence. You didn't. All right. You didn't win it. We lost. And we lost down to a single incident, which was the French. Um, we became trapped. The French isolated. The French isolated us in. Oh God. Oh. Charleston, Georgia, Charleston, was it Charleston? Charleston, yeah. I think it was Charleston, the French Navy. The French Navy barricaded Charleston from the sea to stop us from reinforcing. If we'd have been able to reinforce, I think the results would have been vastly different. I think perhaps we wouldn't have lost that particular war. However, I think that the US would have got independence one way or the other. That particular 1775, I think that was those particular incidents would have been a precursor to what came. I mean, if you think about the US, what have they got? They've got a population of 338 million now, and they are the world's third largest country by area. Russia, China, United States, I think, are the three largest countries in the world. So you've got a much bigger country than us. You've got a much larger population and a much bigger industrial base. So I think eventually you would have become an independent nation eventually. But I think if the French hadn't have interfered the way they did, I'm sure it was Charleston. I could Google it, but I can't be bothered. If the French hadn't have interfered the way they did by stopping us from reinforcing, I think the situation would have been a bit different. Um, but to be honest, we're never going to be able to win anyway because we're fighting a battle with supply lines that were 8 months. It was an 8 month supply line, from the time we demanded supplies, and the message got back to Britain and then got back to America again. It was 8 months, so it was always a difficult one. But I think if the French hadn't have interfered, it would have been a drastically different ending. Um, but the end result would have been the same, but it might have taken another 20, 30 years. Uh, you can't. It was always inevitable. I mean, we've ever since then we've been losing parts of our empire. I mean, we've just lost. Is it Grenada in the Caribbean? And I think Jamaica will be following. I know that Australia. There's a movement in Australia right now to get the Queen off of the Commonwealth. Um, so it's inevitable. It is inevitable that an empire gained by military superiority cannot be held unless you use military superiority. And I mean, I don't think we're prepared to fight anybody for their country. It's it's just one of those things. I think America would have been. I do think America would have been a different situation. I'm sure it's Charleston. Actually, sure it's Charleston, which was the point that we General George Wolfe when we lost. I won't say the Americans won. I'd say we lost. Um, Captain Lafayette. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, French naval ships were a little bit better than the British in the 18th century. No, they weren't. We slaughtered them at Trafalgar. Actually, the ships might have been better, but we used better tactics. We outfought them and outthunked them. Um, but yeah, like I say, it was. I won't say that you won. That would be making it too simple. I would say that we lost. We lost because we lost for the same reason that the Germans lost the Second World War. Um, they started fighting a war on two fronts, which is going to be a no-brainer. You can't win. happened with us. We were effectively fighting a war on two fronts. We were fighting the Americans on one front, and we were fighting the French on the other front. And when they actually combined, and I'm sure it was Charleston. Could somebody Google it? Just confirm that. I'm sure it was Charleston, where the French blockaded stopped the British fleet from reinforcing. That was the turning point. That was when we lost the War of Independence. That's when we knew it was over, because we couldn't reinforce. But like I say, it was only a matter of time anyway. I mean, the roots were set in the Boston Tea Party. The roots were set in Boston. There's no two ways about it. No taxation without representation. And that would have become. It did lead a war, but if it hadn't been a war, that would have become a festering sore. And I don't think numerically there was any way we were ever going to win a war with America. I don't think. You may not realise this. You may not realise this, but you know, in 1912 we almost went to war with you again. Back in 1912, there was very nearly a second war with America. That was only very narrowly avoided. So there was a good that happened back in 1912. So yeah, nobody talks about that. I think we would have lost that one. That was definitely going to be a loser. But there was talk of a war back in 1912. That was Churchill, by the way, who later, great on, became the Americans' best friend. It's just a funny way that history goes. So that's my opinion on it. But I've oversimplified it. There are lots of other things that contributed to the American War of Independence, and that's an oversimplification. But like I say, I don't think you would have, if it hadn't been for the French, you wouldn't have actually won that particular episode. But the end result, it might have taken 20 years more. The end result would have been the same. That was always inevitable. Mohammed says the British Empire has benefited from some colonies in Hong Kong. I'm certain people in Hong Kong wish the British were still there. I'm sure they would. I'm certain they would. Especially the way that China is acting at the moment over Taipei. That looks like there's going to be some imperialism going on there. Chinese Communist Party is devouring Hong Kong alive. They're planning to invade. That's what I just said. They're planning to invade Taiwan. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they claim Taiwan is their sovereign territory, and they want it back. And I think that will bring them into conflict with the Americans if that happens. So I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. I'm not sure whether that's going to happen at all. Right, I've got 7 minutes left before Reddit ends the stream. Reddit will also end the stream at 7 minutes. By the way, I'll add this. Right. Everything I've said tonight could be complete bollocks. All right, I'm not Googling. You can see me Googling. I'm not Googling. I'm going purely on memory. So I could have got it wrong, and I could be creating scenarios of an amalgam of things that I know. But I'm pretty sure I'm right on the basic facts. And we did empire building. We used violence. We used violence to get and maintain our empire. When we stopped using violence, we started to lose our empire. And that was always the way it's going to work. If you take something by violence, you have to hold it by violence. And if you can no longer continue to hold it by violence, then you lose it. And that's what happened. There were some noticeable exceptions. There was one particular country which springs to mind, which went for independence, a country called Rhodesia, which went for independence in 1964. They did something called the UDI, Unilateral Declaration of Independence, where they just said, we don't want to be part of the British Empire anymore, we're going our own way. And that's exactly what Rhodesia did. And everybody went, hang on, Rhodesia, you don't want to do that. If you do that, it's going to turn out badly for you. Rhodesia became Zimbabwe, and it turned out quite badly for them, which I think they're now recovering. But I think if they'd have stayed as part of the Commonwealth, the Empire, I don't think that it would have been the tragedy that Zimbabwe did become there for a little while. But I believe they're coming out of it. When they were Rhodesia, but then I mean that was the white minority owning a country. The white minority, I believe that 90% of the wealth was owned by 10% of the population, which were white. And once they became Zimbabwe, under people like Mugabe, is it Robert Mugabe? They decided that they were going to take their country back. What reasons and events do you put down at the collapse of the British Empire during the 20th century? The First World War, World War Two, World War One. Quite simply, the World War One. We couldn't finance it properly. We couldn't keep up. I've already covered this once. We couldn't keep up the arms race with the Americans. By about 1912, 1914, the Americans were showing what an industrial might they were actually becoming. Same as Germany, they were showing that they were actually an industrial might, and it became a three-way arms race between America, the United Kingdom, and Germany to who could build the biggest ships. And it was really a race. And we didn't win because we had to drop out of the race in the end because we didn't have the finances to keep building bigger and bigger, better ships. And we were fighting a war then, and as well. So our finances were going into fighting a war. At the same time, because we were fighting a war, there was a paradigm shift in our relationship with other countries. Like the First World War sowed India's independence because we were so busy fighting in the First World War, we couldn't really maintain military control over India. And India saw this and they realised that that was their opportunity to get their country back because they knew that we're not going to come and fight for it because we're too busy fighting in Europe. So it was things like that. Plus, we didn't have the finances. When you're in an arms race with somebody with the industrial might of America and the industrial might of Germany, because people don't realise just how big and populous Germany was, and they had a massive economy. Same with America, they had a massive economy, and we were only a tiny little island, even though we had our empire. But the empire was shrinking because we couldn't maintain the violence that was used to take it, which is what I say. So it's reasons and events. But if I had to put an actual turning point of where it really started to shrink, it was the Second World War. We had to concentrate on defending Europe from Nazism, and that's what cost us the empire, the ultimate. That's what set the rot. Those that's what set the groundswell. That's what set the rot. And from there on, there are plenty of other reasons, but from that was what set the rot. People saw us as the opportunity to take advantage of the fact that we couldn't spread ourselves everywhere at once, and we were concentrating very hard on the First World War. You're a very knowledgeable person, probably possibly a bibliophile. Mohammed said, "You're a very knowledgeable person, probably a bibliophile. Do you prefer reading print or e-books? How many books do you read per month? Is your spouse?" My spouse is very much a bookworm. My spouse is a bigger bookworm than me. She reads lots of books. I studied history in university, and I prefer print books. I've got lots of print books in the house. We've got a whole library in the other room. But obviously, since the internet, I use the internet. So that's my There's also a sub reason, by the way. A sub reason, Nietzsche's. We also taught them to be independent by, especially let's say India, right? We started to show them how to build their own economy. When they realised that they could actually have their own economy separate from us, was another reason they went. There's many reasons. You can't put it down to any one particular reason, other than I think the First World War. No problem for the stream. Thank you for following me. I've got to go in about 1 minute. So in 1 minute, Reddit's going to cut me off. As soon as Reddit cuts me off, I'm going to kill YouTube and Twitch as well. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Don't take everything I've said as being 100%. I'm going a lot from memory here, and my memory isn't. I mean, I'm 62 years old, and I really only studied in university like when I was 18. So we're looking at 50 years ago, 45 years ago. And you're really wrecking my brains to do it. So I know my stream is about to end. I know, Nietzsche's. I know. I can see the timer counting down. That's it. It's gone. So bye. Right, I think that's it for Reddit. So I will say to you, Mohammed, on YouTube, and whoever's watching me on Twitch, I will say goodbye to you because I'm going to start streaming on that. So bye for now, everybody. It's been fun. I'll be back on Friday night.